We're going.
Bro, why are you a hater? Okay, I don't feel the same.
Woo! It's here. We're here.
Are we? Never mind.
I'm dead
Off
now.
screen,
I don't know
off
what else to say.
That's it?
What's up, guys? Welcome. We made it. Episode 9.
The last of the Skywalker series. True. There's a word for it. I don't know what the word is, though.
Wow. All I got to say is wow.
This is my face.
You're already warned in the intro. Spoiler heavy.
Hardcore.
This is spoiler review. So if you have not seen it, get your ass in the theater and go see it and then come back and listen to the show.
Yeah. We're talking Palpatine. We're talking that kiss. We're talking
Chewie. Everything.
Yeah,
everything. Notes are everywhere.
They really are.
Notes are everywhere. Oh shit, man! I just got back from Disney as well, so I'm all hype train.
You're
I'm wearing my Knights of Ren shirt.
I'm
straight
shocked.
from Disney, bro.
I'm
straight
shocked.
from Disney. Fucking run me dry out there.
Oh my god.
$40
and you actually
shirt.
got to meet Kylo. I'm jealous.
Got to meet Kylo. Got interrogated. They don't have his new helmet though. They should update.
Because his new helmet did shit in this movie, bro.
Yeah, bro.
What was the point?
Oh.
What was the point of making it badass lava?
Bro.
Nothing. Can you tell
We're
me?
gonna do.
Can you explain? I have questions.
One thing I want this episode is we want to try to make it as organized as possible. It's gonna be messy
you
though.
can try.
There may be a lot of animosity between us, but trust me, we love each other.
No,
we love each
bro.
other. No, we have totally stark different opinions in the movie.
Surprisingly.
Of the movie, and that's good. I'm glad that we have different opinions. I'm sad that Nicole didn't enjoy it like I enjoyed it. So we're gonna obviously go between our points and stuff. I do have.
We got a shout out.
I got shout out to do first.
This made us really happy.
Yeah, I want to crack open the beers, and then we can do the shout out that I have. I gotta pull.
This is gonna be a long episode, guys.
Yeah, this one's gonna be
if we didn't say that.
a long one. Also, I hope everyone had wonderful holidays.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year, because this episode is going to
Year.
be in the last day of the year. So
we got it locked and loaded with these holidays, dude.
It's just there, bro. So we hope that 2020 will bring a lot of good news for a lot of people. I mean, we're trying to elevate in 2020.
This is going to be the last disorganized pod. I'll say that.
Yes. So we had a fan reach us by email.
Are we cracking these?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought we already did.
Nice.
Beautiful. What are we drinking first before I go?
We got a San Diego beer.
San Diego
seems to be, the huge on this pod.
No Comic-Con invite, though.
I know. Tickets
We're
were
drinking
sold out,
June
dude.
Shine. It's hard kombucha.
Take a sip immediately. Me always.
San Diego, California, acai berry.
Dude, it's good. This is my kind of shit
It's
right
got,
here.
it's, spacey type can if you're watching on,
yeah.
It's organic.
It's not the dark side, though. This is for sure. This is Rey looking up at the sky and hearing the Jedi voices kind of beer.
God damn.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We had a fan, Bryant O'Toole. He reached out to us on our email.
Thank you, Bryant.
If you guys don't know, we do have an email.
I told you to release it, dude.
It is filmcrawlpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to write in reviews of movies, when we do our content update on the weekend before the episode drops, you can say, "Oh, I've seen that movie," or and write in, and we'll definitely try to shout you out. Obviously, we don't have a lot of write-ins, so if you write in, there's a good chance of having a shout-out.
Yeah, thanks for leaving your assassin team on our 6 Underground episode. We loved it. We loved reading them. We don't blame you.
So he had written in when we did Last Jedi, and we were in it.
This was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we did a couple email exchanges. I'm not going to read everything, but he had went and he did like a full breakdown of like what he wanted to fix in Last Jedi, which was awesome.
Right off the bat, too, he did a good job. The Rose's
amazing.
sister change was amazing,
Brian.
That was
there was a lot of cool changes and a lot of stuff that we talked about, too, and he mentioned that after he listened to the episode. He found us from Pod Part Due, so our homies over there, Cam and Carrie.
They're coming back.
2020, they're coming back, so
Again.
we should be seeing them pretty soon.
Join the Crawler Media. You get rewarded, dude.
So I'm not gonna read everything for Rise because he wrote a lot.
He wrote for Rise?
Yeah, this
Oh,
is the
dude,
Rise
I thought
one.
he wrote. Oh, I thought we were reading the Last Jedi one. I'm excited.
No, he wrote in for Rise.
This is my first time seeing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
I kind of left it back just so you could experience it.
Yeah, because Sam knows I like to spoil stuff, so he's trying to keep some stuff off screen for me.
But
Dude, yes.
he writes a lot about.
Did he like?
He did like. He enjoyed it. He, he's trying to compile his thoughts without being too, over the top with like details and stuff. But, a little bit of stuff. We're gonna jump right into his thoughts here, and then we're gonna kind of bounce off it, and then go into our own. So I'm gonna try to cap as much as I can here. I'm sorry, Brian, if I don't read the whole thing, but he's also said you don't have to read the whole thing.
Can I do a disclaimer?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, we're gonna get heated on this pod right now. You're
bro,
allowed
I love you, bro.
I love you, bro. This is the last episode of ever.
Hey, we decided.
You're allowed. Anybody who's with me, anybody who's with Sam, you're allowed to like this movie.
Oh yeah.
You're allowed to dislike this movie. It's gonna sound like I'm gonna be shitting on it hardcore, but I'm not. I don't hate the people who like this movie. I don't want to come off.
And
like
I don't
that.
hate the people that don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm actually Star Wars fans are bloodthirsty. I don't know why.
Yeah. We're gonna probably try to like change each other's minds. We'll see who wins.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I do have a lot of thoughts from like top Disney down, and then also
behind the scenes.
Yeah, like behind the scenes, and then also with the movie itself, of course. But I think what we're gonna get into, an overall arching issue, is head of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, and Disney.
For sure.
So
that's
like crippling.
That's the
series.
core of my issue with this movie. But I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah. No, totally. That's a good disclaimer. So Hux being a First Order spy helping the Resistance is so absurd it hurts. I understand wanting Kylo to fail, but not at the expense of losing the entire war. Additionally, Finn was the genesis of his problems, which is completely true.
Yeah.
For Hux's problems, right?
Right.
He should absolutely want him dead and not help rescue him and let him shoot him and not be, suspicious. Hux was such a strong character in the Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
Despite he and Kylo being equals, he did not fear him and treated him like a rabid beast, much like Tarkin from Invader.
Were they equals though?
I mean, they were. They
in
were.
Rank, you mean?
In Force Awakens, they were kind of. They were equals. They had that interaction where they had heat against or beef against each other.
Okay.
But to the point where neither of them could really do about it.
I have thoughts on that.
Okay, but it's close to Tarkin and Vader. Tarkin led the army, his fleet.
Oh, yeah.
And Vader was just like there. He wasn't.
Yeah.
Vader wasn't controlling the
They
fleet.
kind of shit on Vader.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
they
what are you doing
Yeah,
here?
they're like, your religion's stupid, like all this
yeah.
stuff. So,
no, my issue with Hux, the whole Hux and like Kylo dynamic throughout this trilogy, we're shown such hatred between the two to the point that there must be there's obviously some story behind it, but like it almost feels like a brotherly kind of hate of like, they were raised together and they're fighting for this, attention of this high leader.
Right. So
and we never get resolution from that. And there's never any explanation of why Hux hates Kylo so much.
Right.
Why Kylo like shits on Hux so much and like really takes his anger out on him.
Yeah.
There's a real reason behind that, and we're not shown that.
Yeah, and what Bryant says here is the Last Jedi turned him into a laughing stock, which is what I
Which is what
pointed
you
out.
said, yeah.
And it
which
felt
is
like
true.
JJ said, "Fuck it, we'll just give up on him." Almost like,
but why?
If they reverted him to like make him evil again, it would have just felt so tonally wrong.
Or even if he was, this would be stupid because I don't really see this coming from him, but like if he was a part of the Knights of Ren and was thrown out.
Oh, that would have been cool. Yeah,
that would explain the power. That would, like.
And they had Knights of Ren finally in this movie, which is somewhat of a disappointment. And
somewhat.
But to your point, it would have made perfect sense if they had that line in there, like, oh, I was a part of that stupid group.
Not even in this, like anywhere in the trilogy,
we'll get to that shit. He liked General Pride.
He was a good
I
villain,
wish he was
yeah.
just around more. You know,
Yeah.
I wish he was there from the beginning. Really cool dynamic of like someone that fought for the Empire and now is in the First Order.
Rose up the ranks real quick.
Yeah. He's
I
like,
follow you,
Palpatine's
Master.
back.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Exactly.
He said watching Rey reach out with the Force and stop a ship mid-flight is something that I've wanted to see in a film for the longest time, since the Force Unleashed 2 video game, which you freaking, in the video game, you pull a Star Destroyer
Holy shit.
into a planet, which was like insane, and that's something that like I think a lot of fans have wanted to see, and I was really excited for when she reached out. I was like, oh, like if you had the Force, this is something that you, if you were powerful with it, this is something that you could manage. They are trying to expand on the Force.
Are the games canon with Disney?
No, because not
the new ones they're releasing are.
The new ones they are
So,
like last Jedi Fallen Order is, but not like they deleted basically everything. When they bought Lucasfilm, they said like, oh, everything is like false.
Yeah, all the books and shit.
So that's kind of cool. The Force lightning thing he says was pretty cool. He was happy to see like his dreams of his like watching that in the movie come true.
Okay.
I thought those were cool. He said he was excited to see the Emperor again. He wanted it to be more of like
good.
He expected it a little bit more like, be it a clone, an evil Force ghost, or something we haven't yet considered. So instead of
we haven't considered zombies.
Well, no, just instead of him just being alive, like what, like are you gonna add a twist to him coming back? They didn't even do that. You know, so he kind of went there. He said it was pretty sloppy, the way they did that. And then, you know, they had the throwaway lines by that dude who's like, oh, Sith technology, he's cloning, dark side powers. Like, just all these throwaway lines.
Yeah.
He didn't really enjoy as much.
The dark science of the Force. Just being nonchalantly thrown in there.
And then just to wrap up, so I don't go forever on his stuff, you know, and if you guys are interested in what he thought, let us know, and then we can reach out to him and see if we can maybe just post his.
Or we can have him on.
Yeah, no, we're gonna get him on. I wanted to tell you.
I'm so excited.
We're not obviously can't do Star Wars, but he's really into movies, and I had emailed him and said, let's schedule a time to get on. So
sweet.
He can go into more detail in the episode 2, but he said a little bit nitpicky stuff like Luke's X-wing working after decades of being underwater.
It's the Force, bro.
I know. Kylo uses Wayfinder 1 of 2 to get to Exegol. He then has a mini showdown with Rey on Pisana, which leaves the ship destroyed, like really destroyed when Rey does the cool flip thingy.
Yeah.
Rey goes after Wayfinder 2 of 2 on Kef Bir, where the Death Star was. Kylo finds her there and destroys it, crushes it, right?
Literally.
Rey also kills him, heals him, steals his new ship, and burns it on Oct 2, but then uses Wayfinder 1 of 2 in Luke's X-Wing, which is totally works after being submerged.
And in fire, like her hand doesn't
burn. Did Kylo
when
really
she touches
take
it.
out Wayfinder 1 of 2 from the wreckage of his first ship and put it in the second one? He doesn't need it anymore to get to Exegol.
Oh, I didn't.
It's
even
a
think
good
of
point,
that.
and I think it's terrible editing. I
didn't think of that.
And I'm gonna get to that probably first, but
because you and those little details, man.
It's so painfully obvious how rushed this movie is, and how messy the production was.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
So that all that what he said is like evident in so many things in this movie, like in so many different ways. The MacGuffins, the freaking just the knife being there, the snake, the Force healing, like all that stuff is just so painfully.
It's raining.
It's raining. It's so
Arizona.
It's so
that's Arizona for you in a
It's so
nutshell.
painfully obvious how rushed and how stressed and compressed like this movie had to be.
It makes no sense though.
It
Why?
doesn't.
Because they have the money, they have the time. We would have waited 4 years. Well, how long did we wait for this movie? 2, right?
Yeah.
2 years. We would have waited 4. We would have waited 5. Shit. They could have made it a 10-year affair like fucking Endgame did, you know? Like.
Yeah, they could have done this in 2 parts and I would have bought it.
Ooh.
But
yeah,
again,
why does it have to be a trilogy? Why couldn't they make another movie?
Yeah, stupid. He also said, why doesn't Rey disappear when she dies? But Ben Solo does. I I'm gonna just bounce off that there. Rey is like a gray Jedi, we'll call her.
Yeah.
She's dark and good.
It explains her light, her yellow saber at the
and
end.
from what we know from Force Ghosts, you have to be like completely like
on the path
of like, or on the light side, right? We're assuming Ben died on fully committed to the light side because he disappears
last second.
Yeah, I mean that's valid in like, you know, Vader and stuff too.
Or to throw off that, my theory with him being a Force ghost, him and Leia went together. So she waited for him to die because she knew he was gonna die. So maybe she guided him.
She guided
in some
him.
way,
Yeah,
you know?
I have some thoughts on that.
Okay.
Man,
we got time where we gotta get
we got
everything.
A lot of time. And then he said like final moments. I didn't read everything, but I like this point he makes here. Luke hated Tatooine. If there's a bright corner of the universe, you're on a planet that's furthest from it, right? Like Tatooine is like the worst planet probably ever. It's iconic for the movies.
Yeah, right.
And I get why they went back there, but Leia has no ties to Tatooine. So making their final meeting place like that as their final meeting place is a little weird. As well as taking their last name. I know her grandfather was a twat. Like the biggest ever. Yeah, he did. But her parents, you know, blank and blank, we don't know their name, Palpatine, were good, strong people and sacrificed their lives to hide her. So in renouncing Sheev, who's Palpatine, she is also renouncing them, her own parents.
But they renounced Palpatine themselves.
Which is kind of cruel. It almost seems like JJ had planned for Rey to be a Skywalker all along. And when Rian bombed that like a dreadnought, there was the only one way that they can make it happen. He says he's curious to see what a cohesive trilogy looks like if JJ were to do the whole thing. He says, you know, be it whether JJ trilogy or all Rian Johnson trilogy, he's curious to see what they would look like.
But we never will.
We never will.
And that's so sad.
Thank you so much, Brian, for writing in. It's a lot of work. You wrote a ton.
And he does it in a really cool way. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. Excited to have you on.
Yeah, we're excited to have him on, and let's just start going now.
Are we gonna? Okay.
I want to just talk about the Palpatine thing.
Okay, so we're gonna skip or we're gonna not do dislikes, likes.
No, this is just gonna be all over because we want to just hit. I want to hit as much as the main things that we can.
Yeah. Okay, I'm down for this.
Should we start? Should we just start with overall thoughts?
Okay, sure.
Like just overall thoughts of the movie.
Yeah.
And then, as for me, I'll start. The movie, I had fun, dude. I watched it. I enjoyed it. Last Jedi, just sort of context, Last Jedi, I almost walked out 4 times.
Yeah.
I felt like it was so tonally weird and different, and they didn't prepare fans for it. I don't even know if I was expecting anything when I went into the movie, but I wasn't expecting that. Because we've been so kind of like trained with like, here's a Star Wars movie and here's how it goes. Mm-hmm. You know, there's not really one that like sticks out, and Last Jedi sticks out like a sore thumb. I had said it's a good movie, a bad Star Wars movie.
Yes.
I think this is a bad movie, you know, in terms of filmmaking.
Yeah.
But it's fun and good Star Wars movie. I'll
hold my breath.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the series, of course, and I want the best for the series, and I'm going to get into the things that I think need to be fixed, especially for them going forward. But you know, I had fun. I thought there was a lot of good homages in this movie for the fans. I heard some people say they hated all the fan service. You guys need to fucking decide. Like, honestly, you say there's no fan service, and then they give you fan service, and then now people complain about fan service. You'll never make everyone happy.
I want to know what they're talking about, because it didn't feel fan servicey to me.
There was the fan service, but the way it was implemented was good. I feel
subtle.
Like it wasn't.
Was subtle.
I feel like they weren't hitting us in the head with it.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that Palpatine says is clearly just because like iconic lines.
Well, it's recycled lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's hitting it on the head, like or you know, beating a dead horse with fan service. Like, oh, we need to have him say this line because it's funny and like that's kind of like iconic. But to me, I was just like, I was happy to watch it. I was smiling the whole way through. The jokes actually fucking landed most of the time.
Yes.
I was not like, you know, cringing watching it like I was doing The Last Jedi. So I thought overall it was much better. But yes, I feel like I'm in the middle. We're saying like we like or dislike. I feel like I'm in the middle because it is very poorly done, and I'm not giving it credit. I'm not like gonna lack on it and say, oh, I had such a good time. I love the movie. Like I had fun, but like it is bad at the same time. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird relationship I have with it already. So go ahead with your initial thoughts.
My initial thought, I kind of feel like me and you came in to this movie on kind of opposite coins, right? You hated The Last Jedi. I liked The Last Jedi. And rewatching the prequels and the originals leading up to this movie really got me excited and into the lore of this movie and this world. And I liked JJ Abrams' Star Trek series, which a lot of people didn't.
Yeah, I enjoyed that
him
too.
Reviving that, whatever. I thought he did a good job with it. I'm not a super fan of Star Trek. I'm not a super fan of Star Wars. So I'm kind of the civilian in this coming into this movie. But it was so disappointing as someone who was brought into this universe by The Force Awakens, loving that movie and really having fun with that movie and enjoying, being excited for what he was building. Yeah. And to know that JJ had the first movie, right? I'm not going to blame Rian, even though The Last Jedi is at fault. So JJ had the first movie and he has the last movie. He has no excuse to drop the ball on this. And it was really a very dissatisfying ending for an end of a whole fucking series, a whole movies. Era. Yeah, like
three generations of people, 40 years.
Yeah. But coming from someone who just likes movies, I guess, not liking or not really being like you, super into Star Wars and knowing the backstories, right? I was just disappointed with the handling of characters and the story. The story was very lackluster and very just, I don't know, cheap. It was lazy. Like the writing was really lazy. The story, the plot points were really lazy, like bringing Palpatine back right in the beginning and not really explaining how he had a child, how he was brought back. Just like, oh, this broadcast is out in the universe. We don't know where it came from.
So
apparently
ridiculous.
It's in Fortnite.
It's in Fortnite. I don't understand.
Did you look into that? Like, what is that? Like, why did
literally the broadcast is in Fortnite.
And that's canon. Like, that was the actual
that's
broadcast.
Now canonized. We live in a world, guys, where Fortnite is canonized Star Wars. So this
is creepy. It's a creepy broadcast.
This is where I'm getting at, where I'm saying I don't blame Rian Johnson. I don't blame JJ. I blame the heads at Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger at Disney. You guys should be responsible for making this shit come together.
Call them out straight
I'm
up.
calling them out. And everyone should be calling them out. All fans, either you liked it or you didn't like it, because we should have had a series where a majority of fans enjoyed it. Maybe we don't like some of the decisions, and that's fine because everyone has an opinion. But we should not have fucking wars over these movies because they're so different. They're so blatantly different. I'm calling it now. This is the worst trilogy out of the three.
It really is.
I think the sequel trilogy literally beats this in terms of cohesive story.
Yeah.
Like
each of these movies felt like their own separate movies.
Yeah. This trilogy has cool moments. Like, and it's cool to watch updated graphics and all that shit. But your stories don't make any sense. Your characters are terribly written. I've bagged on Finn since Force Awakens.
Yeah.
He's terribly written. I don't understand Finn at all.
So they dropped the ball with him.
And they really dropped the ball with him. It's such a cool story. A renounced stormtrooper, which we've never seen.
Who has the Force. And
now he has the Force.
They ignore that in this movie.
Yeah, they just throw it. Oh, I have a feeling. Fucking what?
And he feels Rey die like Obi-Wan felt.
Yeah, and like
planet,
Leia felt it's so plot devicey. It did not need to be there, and the only reason why they gave him the Force was because they needed him to find out where the fucking sensor was on the Capitol ship, because there's no other way for the rebels to do that, apparently.
That's right.
And for him to feel Rey die. Like, it's so stupid.
But we don't even need that.
And we don't even know what he was going to tell Rey. I'm assuming he loves her.
No, I think it was that he has the Force.
Oh, that he's the Force. Whatever. It's what they just end it with nothing. They're leaving the series with loose ends untied. And
dude, they're setting it up for
and
movies
now
10
they're
years
setting
from
it
now.
up for stupid side shit, books, games, Disney just trying to cash the fuck in.
Okay.
And that's what's frustrating about it.
I'm going to say something that's like this is my major issue with this movie is the recycling of tropes, old movies that aren't even in this universe. And I've told you this. The snake scene.
Yeah.
I literally turned to my friends and was like, "Okay, so we're watching Chamber of Secrets now. Like
yeah,
we're in Harry
it was
Potter.
weird. I was like,
all the ships coming out was a total endgame. Like not even well done.
God.
Like we've seen it before. We get it. You're in the same corporation conglomerate of Disney. You can use your own use different shit.
Yeah.
But the ending when she buried their blades, Leia and Luke's blades, felt like Jumanji.
Oh.
Like I was like, okay, they're setting up a movie maybe where 100 years from now, a young one it just comes across it, like it
they
just
find the
rises from
sabers.
the sand. Yeah,
You're gonna see those sabers. Somewhere.
Exactly. Like, why bury them? I kind of get it, but that was a huge issue with this movie.
It's like the closing of the book
everything,
that I think he's going for. I don't.
But like you said, he hated Tatooine.
Yeah.
Why would you bury it there just to have the 2 moons scene to call back to where it all began? And that's my huge issue with this movie is that it was so recycled. Again, lazy. Like they had the money, they had the time. You have
unlimited
actors,
resources,
unlimited power,
literally
literally
unlimited power to do amazing 3 movies. If you want to do a trilogy so fucking goddamn bad, but the fact that you come to the UK, you buy Lucasfilm and you say, okay, we're gonna do a trilogy
because Kathleen worked with Lucas, right?
She's been working with him since the originals. And you buy Lucasfilm, you're Disney, and you're like, okay, we're gonna do a trilogy. Here's our new characters. We really want to focus on the Skywalker saga still. Maybe wrap it up a little bit more. Luke has Luke has a story. The Skywalkers have a story past 6. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, they have families.
Yeah,
they have
George Lucas wanted to do more.
Yeah,
and so all this makes sense. Everyone's super excited. Okay, JJ sets up Force Awakens. Yeah, it's a little New Hope-y. It's safe. It's a good soft reboot. I feel like it was a good reboot. Everyone's pumped now. Star Wars is back in the game.
Kylo Ren's here.
Kylo's a cool character. Finn is a cool character, just written terribly. Poe is kind of, he's kind of Han.
He finds his way in this movie.
Yeah, he's kind of Han. he's kind of trying to be Leia too. They're kind of smushing him into one.
Yeah.
Rey, the biggest problem I think I have with the whole trilogy is I don't really care about Rey.
Really?
I really don't. I feel like this is more a Kylo trilogy, if anything.
As it should have been.
Yeah, I feel more connect. I don't feel like I relate a lot to Kylo, but I feel his story more.
You connect with it.
He has, maybe it's just Adam Driver on screen. He's just way better on screen than everyone else.
Oh my God, yeah.
He can portray emotions and stuff so well.
We're kind of biased because it's the year of Adam Driver.
I don't think I'm biased, dude. I honestly do not. I love Daisy Ridley. I think she's a great actress, but I just don't care for her because she's written like the typical Disney, just like I can do everything at once. I don't have to struggle really with anything.
She's very overpowered.
When does she ever get hurt at all in any of these movies? She's never had like
they try to hurt her emotionally.
Yeah, they never had like the fall. She never had the falling down moment. The first time she fights with a lightsaber, she wins essentially.
She only loses because the planet cracks in half.
Yeah, so. She's always been overpowered from the beginning. So every time I watch her, I'm not worried at all on screen because I'm like, she's just going to win. Yeah. Doesn't matter. With Kylo, I'm like, I don't know if they're going to kill him or not because he's kind of iffy.
Or you're even like,
and I'm like,
I don't know
care
who he's
going
to kill.
Yeah, or I don't. Yeah,
he could really kill anybody.
So
he's very conflicted, and Adam Driver plays him so beautifully. And in this movie, he basically acts without words, which is amazing. He does a great job. But
and I think Daisy did a great job too.
Oh yeah, Daisy, yeah. They all. I wanted to note the cast. Like the chemistry
felt
really
felt
natural.
way natural.
Like you said with the jokes, that they really like were very smooth, and it felt very natural in their like their bickering when they was like, oh, you know what you are, you're difficult. Like that didn't feel. It felt like they were friends. But Adam is not in this movie, and I'm really curious as to if it's because he had a huge year and he had a lot of projects that he just couldn't be on this movie a lot. But like,
I don't know.
he was. I don't want to say he was barely in it because obviously he's a huge part of this movie, but like he was not on screen a lot and he did not talk a lot.
Yeah, and he didn't have a lot of lines at all.
Yeah.
That's the problem with it. Again, me going back to what I was, originally saying is just you have these arcs, and I need my character to get from point A in the first movie to point C in the third movie, and B is supposed to fill a lot of plot holes or a lot of background. However you want to do it. Maybe you stack 1 and it's all background and it's kind of boring, and then 2 is like more amped, and then 3 is crazy, right? Whatever you want to do, but they didn't. JJ set it up. He had clear vision. Snoke is obviously the bad guy. He has Knights of Ren. Knights of Ren is teased in that. They're in the vision and everything, and there's all this stuff that goes into Last Jedi, and just. It stops. It stops there. It's wiped there. Snoke's dead. Knights of Ren don't even make an appearance. There's so many other things. I'm just picking those two because I like those two. But there's so many other things that were clearly not answered. The movie itself, like the story these characters go on in that movie, does nothing for anyone. Like this again, we're talking about the spaceship chase is the story. Them chasing.
We're talking about the second one or this one?
In Last Jedi.
Yeah.
It's them chasing each other, shooting missiles and going. They're two
racing against the clock.
Yeah, and it does nothing for the characters. It does nothing for the story.
They tried to focus it on Poe.
Yeah, they focused it a little bit on Poe,
like an arc,
and Luke being dumb, and now. So that's one thing, right? So. They make Force Awakens, and then Disney says, okay, the fans generally liked it.
Yeah.
We got like an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes.
We were safe.
Yeah, we're safe. Okay, number 2, what do you got, Ryan? What are you planning?
They felt okay enough to like experiment.
Yeah, hey, you can kind of okay, slow down, Ryan. Oh, you're going to kill Snoke? No, right. Like, why is no one saying that? Why is no one directing the directors or the writers? Like,
yeah,
you're
really
telling me
it
just feels like they have free reign to do whatever they want. Then, so even if The Last Jedi passed and it got out like that, got across the table, now you're saying, JJ, come back, make the movie. What are you going to do?
Clean up Ryan's mess,
what are you going to do?
And
he says, I'm going to revert everything from the second one and do it all in 2.5 hours. And everyone still made it happen.
Yeah.
They didn't even say, it's not going to make cohesive sense for the trilogy. They're saying, this isn't, like, fans aren't going to like how different they are. Like, maybe you should kind of stick with Ryan's story.
Like, hey, like, this is where we're going now. Like,
now we have to go this way.
On.
I know you didn't want to go that way, but too fucking bad. I'm Disney, and I need the story to make sense. No, they just said, go do whatever you want again. And now it's completely different. I sound like I hate the movie, but I like it. I just hate how Disney is handling it. Like,
so
it doesn't make sense.
Do you think this was a part of JJ's original story, or this was a whole new script that he had to like scramble?
I literally think, the Emperor, no.
Okay.
I think it's painfully obvious the Emperor was not planned at all. He's
just
teased
a Snoke take.
Yeah, he teased
back like for 5 seconds.
He teased Snoke, or in the first one, if the Emperor was planned, it would have been in JJ's second movie, and if he did all 3, right? If this is the scenario we're talking, he does all 3. If the Emperor was planned, I think it would have been hinted in The Force Awakens or in his second film. Now, Ryan kills Snoke. Rian Johnson kills Snoke. If, again, this is an organizational flaw for Disney, again, in Lucasfilm. If they had said, yes, we want to do the Emperor again, why the fuck did Rian Johnson not add it in there? He kills Snoke, and then they tease him at the end. Everyone's hyped now.
Which they
they did not do.
Yeah.
They teased them in the trailer. The first trailer.
And Disney was releasing a lot of footage that did... The whole beginning of this movie was released 2 days before the movie came out. in
and they're scrambling. They're desperate.
But like, why
Because
would
they're
you release
desperate.
that
Because
2 days before the movie
because
comes
it
out?
wasn't in The Last Jedi. If this was in The Last Jedi, imagine they kill Snoke. Okay, the battle calms down. Rey and Kylo go on their separate ways. Boom, Kylo gets a fucking Skype call from the Emperor. You know, well they did that in the movie, right?
Yeah.
So this would kind of bounce off that.
Yeah.
Boom, he's in Exegol.
That's how it ends.
And the Emperor's saying, "You idiot! It's been me the whole time." Boom, movie ends.
Or if he even says, "My boy."
Yeah. Movie ends. Now your whole fan base is fucking insanely hyped. It doesn't feel rushed like it does here.
Yeah. Disney, hire us.
I just don't
Netflix,
get it, dude.
hire us.
Dude, I don't know what it goes in. I know making a series this big is obviously hard, but it doesn't seem that hard, right?
Especially
it doesn't
when
seem
it's side by side with your Marvel series and that going
and
so
you're telling me Kevin Feige is gonna do 15 individual films with 15 different directors, with 15 different cast members, main actors and actresses, and then say, hey, this is where they start. They're all going to end up in Endgame, and I need you to tell the story. And they do it almost flawlessly.
A little bit. There was some, a couple movies.
There's a couple that
in the early
fell a little short. But they fucking did it, and you can't do three with three directors?
Especially, and then if we're comparing to Marvel, which I'm sorry to do, but you kind of have to
now, because they're owned by the same people.
So The Last Jedi, it was a real risk to hire Rian Johnson. Everyone was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, they're hiring him. Like, what's he going to do? Marvel did the same thing with Taika Waititi with Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
And look how amazing that was.
Ragnarok was very well received.
Yes, but Taika Waititi is a great director. So is Rian Johnson.
He is, and we've done his movies, and we like his movies.
So I'm just missing. I really want to know what happened to where they couldn't get that cohesion with this such a huge moneymaker for them, a huge series, a beloved franchise for people young and old. Like
I'm kind of curious. We blame a lot on Last Jedi and Rian Johnson, but I'm probably more on the back end. Maybe they were pushing him to do stuff he didn't even want to do. Who knows?
I respect him. He did the movie he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And if you're taking his movie out of the trilogy, it was a great movie. Like, I liked it. Like,
I know. I
handled the characters pretty well. But in this trilogy, we're giving him so much shit for it because it doesn't fit with the whole story that Disney didn't take the time to work on.
Yeah, exactly. So now we get to now it's just screaming internally. Now we get to Rise, and it's just a mess. It's so fast paced. The first 30 minutes, you're just you're on fucking shrooms going through this movie.
And you want to talk about editing? I have an issue right in the beginning. So opening scene, opening crawl. Oh, there's a broadcast from Palpatine. Kylo Ren's on the search for it.
The dead speak.
The dead speak. The stupidest opening crawl ever. We see Kylo Ren obliterating this fucking planet to find
and
Palpatine.
that's confirmed Mustafar.
What's Mustafar?
Remember where Anakin and Obi-Wan fight at the end of 3?
Shit.
And Vader.
Wait, You Are My Brother? That one?
Yeah, and remember in Rogue One when you've seen Rogue One, right?
I've seen.
Remember when Rogue One when Krennic goes to see Vader?
Who's Krennic?
The Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh yeah.
He goes to see Vader and he gets choked. That's on Mustafar, and that's Vader's castle on Mustafar.
Oh shit.
It's confirmed that Kylo's on Mustafar. They're killing those are Vader followers or cultists. And much lore, and it's 5 minutes of notes or a minute of no talking of him just slaughtering people.
And Kylo has such a connection to Vader, but we'd never see them talk, except to his helmet in his room.
Ridiculous.
Okay. So he's on this planet obliterating. And so that whole scene with Palpatine, him meeting Palpatine telling him this is what you got to do, kill the girl, and Kylo says, "Who's the girl?" It cuts. You think it's gonna be Rey?
They've been doing that since fucking day
one.
But
it goes to Poe and Finn and Chewie, and it's makes no sense. If they reversed, if that cut to Rey training in the forest, and then we saw Poe and Finn,
we would have been fine.
Yeah, so I would have been. I would have I don't know, connected more with it. But that, it was just so jarring of okay, they're gonna cut to Rey
and then it's Chewie,
and it's literally Chewie playing chess.
I think it's clear if you look at this movie this is what, and I don't know if it's a flex. I don't know if it's a call out. I don't know what it is what JJ was doing. It's clear that this was his 2 and 3.
Like mushed into one?
This is what he would have done for 2 and what he would have done for 3.
But he didn't make it 3 hours? Like, why?
Say if that's what he wanted to do.
Right.
Maybe it's a little bit different because Snoke is still a thing. Or like I said, Snoke is a thing, but it is controlled by the Emperor. You find out in the second one. Then they go on the Wayfinder search.
Or
and
Palpatine's his master.
Yeah, and now you have 2 explaining all this, right? Oh, how's Palpatine back? All this bullshit. Okay, now we have to find the Wayfinders. Okay, maybe it leaves on a cliffhanger. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right? Then in 3, they pick up on the Wayfinder stuff. They still haven't found Palpatine. They're still going.
Yeah.
And then they do this movie, but it's dragged out and you have more time. You have more time to talk about force healing. You have more time to talk about freaking just everything. Rey's past. You have more time to talk about her family.
So are you saying that he wrote the script retconning what Ryan
I literally
you don't think this is what he wanted, like in some form what he wanted?
No, this is what he wanted, and I feel like he's intentionally wrote it to like tell people, here's what I would have done if I did the whole thing.
Okay, so that right there,
and this is again that's a flaw.
It's a flaw
with Disney,
and that feels and obviously we don't know what happened.
Yeah, we don't know.
That feels like such a sibling fight. Like, oh, like you did this movie, and I'm gonna fix it.
It's a dick measuring contest.
But that brings me into the complete erasure of fucking Rose Tico. I get it. She didn't have to be in The Last Jedi, and she shouldn't have to be a main character in this one, but she was introduced to us, and she was a huge part of Finn's journey, and Finn's a huge character.
Yeah,
and you're gonna give her 77 seconds of screen time.
This is what I'm saying. It's a dick measuring contest,
and that's fucked up though.
He's like, clearly, I don't need Rose, and yes, a lot of fans think like Rose wasn't well done because mainly because everyone hates Canto Bight, and she happens to be a part of that.
That's not her fault.
I know,
yeah.
It's not her fault, and I think she's a great actress, but it's like so clearly obvious that like, oh no, Rose, you stay here.
But you're gonna completely disrespect her and like give Finn a new love interest and like have Finn like push her aside, like
those stories are all whack.
Yeah.
Like Finn, what we thought loved Rey, now he likes Jonna, now was with Rose. Like, it's so whack. This is why this trilogy is not a good trilogy. If you guys honestly, if you watch Force Awakens and then you watch Rise of Skywalker and say you say in the crawl you say Snoke died, or you add the Snoke dying part at the end of Force Awakens, and then you just watch this, it like kind of makes cohesive sense still.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it feels to me when I'm watching it, I'm like, this is 2 movies squished into one.
Yeah.
It's growing on a little bit of stuff. I don't know if a lot of people are saying like, oh, he's not disregarding The Last Jedi. To me, when I watched it, I feel like he is disregarding The Last Jedi.
I think
he is taking some of Rian Johnson's stuff, which I did like the Force connection where they're talking to each other, and they grow a lot on that, and I do like those abilities.
Yeah, objects are moving,
and he is using those things, but there's clear lines that are thrown in here to blatantly erase what happened in The Last Jedi. The guy mentions we need to pull some Holdo maneuvers. If you guys remember, Captain Holdo destroyed a whole fleet by using hyperspace into the ship. Yeah. And they said, "Oh no, that's 1 in a million. You'll never get to be able to do that again."
Oh
they say that in the movie, and
holy shit.
He's like literally JJ is literally erasing things that happened. And I don't know if that's Disney saying, "Hey, nope, nobody liked this part. Like, you need to like correct it." I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the dick measuring contest. Cool. Either way, I don't care if it's the dick measuring. I don't care if it's the writers. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
You should have to have a say if you're the head of Lucasfilm and you're supposed to run the show.
Yeah.
If your directors and writers are doing stuff that don't make sense, you should be able to step in and say, "Hey, I get that you don't like that, but like it's already out," or "Hey, you can't do this. I don't think it's going to work." Like
Fuck, they did it with the creators of Game of Thrones. They were slated to do their own trilogy without the Skywalkers, whatever. They were having a Star Wars trilogy years ago when Game of Thrones was good and everyone liked it. Disney saw that Game of Thrones season 8 fucking sucked, and they said, whoa, 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 we got to take this back from you guys.
Yeah, we don't trust you.
Why couldn't that kind of power happen here? I really don't get it.
It's so weird. It's so weird, and I want to know the inner workings, and we never will, but...
maybe there's going to be a documentary when we're like 80, you know?
I'm
like that's what our kids
I remember watching that movie.
I saw this movie 3 times when it came out.
But so we're back on the pacing. It's so fast. It's squishing.
Can I give you my hot take that I've been like teasing you forever, ever? Okay. This is my own opinion, and this is taking out like this is the idea I think they should have taken this trilogy on. Bro, bear with me. I would have enjoyed, and I would have loved this trilogy, if in the first movie, Rey, or you know what, whatever, the whole storyline, Rey and Kylo are twins. Han and Leia's kids.
Okay.
And when they're born, or even it's said in this movie that she sensed Kylo's darkness. I don't know, in the womb. I think in the books, like she senses him in the womb, like that he's going to turn dark. Yeah, they said that like before she even had him. Yeah, like that she knew the path her son was going to be on. Yeah. So which I really like that scene. Yeah. That was great. Leia and Luke fighting. I don't care if it's CG. Like that was well deserved. Yeah, and real like placed. I was like, oh shit. And I kind of got chills. I was like, fuck, Leia with the saber. Like there's so much stuff they could have kicking ass. Yeah, that was really cool. So Kylo and Rey are twins. She senses that Kylo's gonna turn dark, and she doesn't want her daughter to die or whatever. So she gives her to Luke, and for whatever reason, like Luke raises her for a little bit. For whatever reason, maybe he is going to start the Jedi Temple, and like Kylo and Rey are in it together, but he senses that Kylo's gonna turn to his path. So this probably doesn't suit right, but like he drops Rey off on Jakku or wherever the fuck, right? Like he abandons her essentially. Okay. And from there, like then we go into the Force Awakens and like whatever. That would have been great. Or it could have even gone off like he knew that Rey was in this scenario they're her kids. But if you write it the other way, where like he knew that she was evil, like she had dark Sith blood in her. So that was his decision to drop her. And he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And like, I don't want to risk another Anakin scenario, right? So he drops her off with her parents, which are like just people. And they separate that way. But because there's so much you could have done. You could have made Rey anybody's child. You could have made her Obi-Wan's. And you could have made sense in this movie. Yeah, which a lot of people thought that was going to be the case, but you could have made her anything. And if you didn't want Palpatine so much, but you had to bring him back, like why would you make him or make her a Palpatine and completely erase what you set up in The Force Awakens? Like he placed Obi-Wan's voice in her flashback for a reason, you know? Like and I don't know. That's why everyone is that just the saber though? Is that just the saber talking to her? Like but they say her name. Yeah, I know, but it's hard. It's hard to say. This movie should have been Kylo's movie. This journey is Kylo's journey. He deserves that saber, or he doesn't deserve it. We should have the Force Ghost scene, the Force voice scene should have been Kylo's scene. Yep. Hearing Yoda say, alone never have you been, to Kylo would have been amazing. And this is why I'm saying that he's developed way more than Rey, even though Rey's the lead. But why is he erased in this movie? What? Why is he like, we don't get an Anakin Force Ghost? It's stupid, dude. It's stupid. Like, it's stupid because, Disney wanted to do Rey, and, this is the Rise of Skywalker, and the only Skywalker bloodline left is Ben Solo with Leia. And he's not even in the ghost scene at the end. I know, and he rises essentially from the bottom of Exegol
which again is just terrible.
That was a really cool
done.
line though. So will fall.
Yeah, the last Skywalker.
That was
and
really
you're
cool.
like, okay. No, and then I watched that part. I'm like, okay, I get it. He's gonna probably be alive, and this is like his rise.
Nope.
What? Rey and Kylo die and get resurrected and die and get resurrected 3 times within 3 minutes. Like, that is just terrible editing and terrible writing. And Rey, I'm going to say it. I don't know. A lot of people don't talk about it, but my dad said this too. He's like, Rey should just be dead.
She should have died.
The Rise of Skywalker should be Ben.
Ben should have lived.
And I was like, go dad. Like, first time he's ever trying to, he usually watches the movies. He's like, yo, it's cool. But, like, he doesn't get into it. But he's like, like, I don't get it. Like, the Rise of Skywalker is technically is Ben, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like, he's the only bloodline left. And Rey sacrifices herself. Amazing story. She renounces her own name of being evil. And that's, like, the whole, metaphor for these movies, right, is your bloodline doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make you who you are.
It's
You're your own person.
The
path you choose to take. And Ben took his path. It took him longer than normal. Rey is finding out his path in these movies, and I actually like her being evil. I'm like, I'm down for her having the evil bloodline, and her having to make her own choice. That she's gonna renounce the Palpatine name.
Right.
And I would love for Rey to be dead. It sounds stupid or weird to say that, but I would love for her to have died and Ben be the one that lives. I don't know how I would reformat that last scene, though, because it would kind of feel weird if Rey literally killed everyone and then he, like, comes out and he's like, what's up, everyone? Like, right. I'm alive. And that would have felt off. So they would have to have done it differently. But maybe she sacrifices herself before Ben can get there, while he's fighting Knights of Ren or whatever the moment is. But I would have liked that story. And Ben goes and buries the sabers. It's his mom's saber.
And sees them.
Yeah, and sees them, and him standing on the fucking on the sons and on the two sons, and it would have made more sense that he is actually the Skywalker that's rising from being an evil person. Now he's rising and becoming the good person.
And we don't get to see Luke we don't get to see that apology of him and Luke. I get it.
We got it kind of in Last Jedi. Remember, he's like, I failed you, I'm sorry.
But he also says, see you around, kid.
It never comes back.
It never comes back.
Again, another dick measuring thing where it's like, okay, I actually like Ryan implementing that. Like, it makes sense, right? He's a Force ghost.
Yeah.
But, okay, why? I don't know.
Kylo deserved it.
I love the Kylo Han scene in this movie.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And, a lot of people are saying, well, I would have liked it if it was Luke. I would have bought it. They could have.
Why not both?
They could have implemented it somewhere else,
though.
The movie was already a mess, so that's kind of most of my complaints are just disappointing things of like
Kylo deserved to
of just editing and writing things not making sense. I think this movie is beautifully shot. JJ always does great shots. It like Exegol is probably the coolest planet we could have ever visited.
He does do great world building stuff.
I think like the giant Sith statues, the fucking Sith cult arena.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Although it's dark, I get it's dark, but I think it's very creepy.
The lightning on Palpatine's was great.
The sound mixing of the lightning of like nails on the chalkboard.
Yeah,
that is the coolest aesthetic of a planet we've ever seen. And maybe this is why I'm pumped, because I'm like it just feels so evil. Like this movie feels dark, and none of the other two felt really dark, really. Right. So it felt like we're diving into like evil like areas in the world, in the galaxy. I just really love the idea of like this Sith cult army.
So were those
and then like chanting
ghosts
like
of past Sith, or
so I originally thought
they all look the same.
I originally thought they were like literally the ghosts of the Sith, of all the Sith, and I was like, that's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because he, Palpatine's saying like, I'm all the Sith.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that makes sense. I don't know. I've read a few things. People are saying that they were just followers of the Sith. Like.
But they're dead. Like they're not.
I don't know if they're dead.
They seemed like statues.
They seemed fake. They seemed ghostly.
Like they dusted.
They seemed ghostly. But it is so
happened.
dark. I'm gonna need to like get it on.
On
fucking 4K Blu-ray.
You just see like Darth Maul. Easter egg. That's your Easter egg.
Yeah, I was
video.
really. Well, I'll just say from my perspective in watching it, I thought ghosts.
Okay.
I thought ghosts. I didn't see them in the crowd, and I thought, oh, those are people. I thought ghosts. What did you feel when you saw them? Like, were you like, oh, those ghosts are humans? Like, I literally just thought ghosts.
I thought it was like a stand-in army that he created until he could, like, he created statues that animated until he could get them.
I read some things that like they were just the followers, like people that were helping him build his fleet and stuff, like just like overall.
Yeah, because we see the masked people like manning the tanks.
Yeah.
So he had helpers.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll say they were real, but then it's kind of funny how they all just get obliterated. But whatever.
They just disappear.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Again, this is why I wouldn't have been opposed if they said, you know what, we want to take our time. Let's do 4 movies.
Yeah.
Do you think Star Wars fans are going to care that we're getting an extra movie in 2 years? Right? Like, we would have been like sick. Like, part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
You know, Rise of Skywalker, part 1, Rise of Skywalker,
that was my
part
question.
2.
Like, why does this have to be a trilogy? I was like laying awake in bed last night. Like, why does this have to be a trilogy? Like, why can't it be 4 or 5 movies?
And
like,
since it is a trilogy, you're really not going to push 3.5 hours. And since you're not going to push 3.5 hours, you're really going to try to fit 2 movies into 1, like in 2.5, like that's just like the overall disorganization that's up there at Disney.
You're telling me you can't bring an Anakin Force Ghost?
No. So they did film those. They filmed those scenes.
Really?
And
because
and they're 100%.
We're like, Hayden's on set. He's doing something. Like he's in it.
They're 100% gonna. No. It's gonna be a deleted scene. It's gonna be a deleted scene.
I don't know.
So of course we're gonna have to go buy the movie, but.
We're going to anyway.
I mean, I'm going to because I have my collection, but
dude, there's gonna be a box set that's gonna be like $500.
Yeah, well, good thing I bought mine over the years. So I'm buying the Steelbook Blu-ray, but that's gonna be a deleted scene, 100%. And I don't know how I would have felt. I do love all the voices. I think that was very powerful. I thought it was chills. I got chills hearing Yoda. Like you said, alone you have never been. That is such a good line.
I love that line.
And if it was for Ben, it would have been like it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
For him to have for us to have experienced him experiencing it.
Because he's the character we've seen feel alone.
Exactly.
Like he's alone on this path, and that he has no one to follow, and except for the evil.
Why is the Rise of Skywalker Rey? Even if you go with Rey living, okay, he revives her. Why does he die again?
Because he gave his whole life, bro.
A soul for a soul. Thanos. Yeah, like I don't get that because
I destroyed the stones to save the stones. what the fuck?
I destroyed the stones with the stones. That part pisses me off because it's so roller coastery there. It's supposed to be emotional moment, and
this is the first time we see Kylo Ren smile.
We see him fucking get drained, get dementored from Palpatine.
Exactly.
Get yeeted off.
Recycled movies, people.
Get yeeted off the cliff. And then come back,
disrespected,
revive Rey. So I've already been up and down 6 times at this point.
Oh, and it shows that he's like in love with Rey. He doesn't want her to die.
Kiss, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna live together. Like I said, I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm totally down for them having the happy ending together.
Yeah.
Kylo coming from the darkness and Rey coming from good and almost going to darkness. Like now they're the dyad. Yeah.
Dyad.
He dies right after the kiss. That doesn't make any sort of sense.
When she catches him, though.
It is so quick. I can't even react. It's so quick. The next scene's cut. It's cut. Okay, we're going.
She's smiling.
Yeah, we're moving. I'm flying away in the X-wing. What? I can't even. I'm not even
with
gonna.
Me always,
yeah, I'm not even gonna fucking. I can't even. I can't even hurt that Ben died, and
we never see him again.
We never see him again.
He doesn't come to visit her in the Force.
And it's so up and down there. The second time I saw that the movie, the first time I saw it, no one really reacted to that.
Yeah.
Him dying. The second time, millions of groans in the theater. Like I think they're feeling the same thing. We've already seen him like almost, I guess, die. He gets thrown off into the hole and then comes back. Like, why kill him again?
Okay, that brings up a point for me watching this movie because I've seen it twice now.
Yeah.
And the first time I watched it, the emotional moments in this movie, when Kylo talks to Han, when Leia dies, when
Dude,
Luke's
the
Force
Leia
Ghost.
scene is so good.
I have thoughts.
I think that's really
Luke's
good.
Force Ghost. Those are all supposed to be pinnacle, like, oh shit moments. And sure, they were great. They were beautifully shot. Great dialogue in those ones. It didn't hit me like it should have because it was very predictable. Like, I saw Kylo looking out, and I'm like, okay, here comes Han. Like, someone's going to visit him. Rey's looking at the TIE fighter burning, and she's about to throw the lightsaber. I'm like, okay, this is, we've been waiting for him. Like, Luke's ghost is going to come.
Luke's planet,
you know, like, those moments should have had so much impact, and they didn't because I saw them coming. And that's maybe my fault as a fan, you know, but, like, I don't know. Like, it just didn't have... But my thoughts with Leia is that she was not handled well.
No, and
her death.
I was gonna say, huge respect to Disney to even attempt to do this. Like, say we're not CGing her. We're doing all old scenes from 2 movies ago, which now writing is really fucking ruined at this point.
Yeah.
Like, this is a huge burden on the writers, and it's really, really obvious they wrote Rey's lines around what Leia's lines were, and it just feels out of place. But at the same time, I was like, I respect it. I'm not too hurt about it.
I don't think they should have put it in the movie.
I don't think. I was thinking about it driving here, and I was like, you know, what would it look like, or what would it be like if Leia wasn't in the movie?
Or if she even came as a Force Ghost.
Or she connected with Ben same way, but as a digital Force Ghost.
Yes.
I feel like fans wouldn't have been mad about digitalizing her as a Force Ghost.
Yeah.
And you know, they could have dubbed her voice or something. Whatever it is.
Like, I feel so bad for saying this, but like, I don't think. I
even
don't think they should have killed her in the opening crawl, but I think they should have opened
with her funeral.
Her funeral. Yeah. Yes, bro. Okay. Yeah.
100%.
And then like cut. So the funeral scene is the opening shot, right? And then we cut to Kylo obliterating this planet because he knows Leia died. Like, that puts so much more weight on why he's so angry.
He could feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really powerful. Really powerful. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm with you though, because I'm like, yeah, it's written bad because her lines are from 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And you know, Rey's just like talking. Rey is talking around her almost.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird. But respect for them to do it. We love Carrie Fisher. I think I'm totally with you though. They start with the funeral. Maybe before she dies, on her bed, that's when she's connecting with Ben, and we're in the Force Skype thing, right?
Yeah.
And she's like talking to Ben, and she's like, "Look, this is my last moment. I need you to like really consider like what the fuck you're doing."
Yeah.
And he's on his way to Mustafar, and then she dies.
Fuck.
And he feels it, and you're like, oh, he's going good. But since she dies, you see his, his anger start, and then he goes and fucking slaughters people. It would have been crazy. I would have probably cried during that. Like, you would just feel his pain during that.
But the way they handled, they put her body under a sheet, right? And she stays there until Kylo dies because they go to the Force together. I get that.
Right.
But one of my, this is fucked up of me to say, but one of my favorite things of Revenge of the Sith was Padme's funeral. That was a beautifully shot, designed
her
scene.
Hair and everything.
Her hair, but it was really emotional, and we just get Leia dying, and R2 did get me when he oh my god, and then Chewie.
And the droids have more emotion than the
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
But
the Chewie scene, oh my god.
But it was 5 seconds, and we don't get to see him say goodbye to her.
I know,
nothing.
and you felt like it wasn't. You felt kind of weird because he didn't have that. He didn't get to have that moment when Han died.
He saw it happen, but
he saw it happen. I mean, he screamed and he had to get. They had to get the fuck out. You know, when they were shooting everyone. So he didn't have that time to like sit there. And this one really hurt me, dude. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I was really
like the screech of Chewie crying is very painful.
It really is.
But I think Jonas did a great job.
Yeah, they should have done a better funeral. I'm sorry. Like,
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I don't with this whole like, oh, she goes to the Force with Kylo. It kind of feels kind of weird to me. I don't. I would have.
It's her motherly instinct, and she knew his path, so she was waiting.
You know what would have been really kind of cool? Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Leia goes to the Force. She drains her Force life to save Ben, who's at the bottom of Exegol, dead. Like, he's literally dead. And she and she drains him, her life. And like, she's dead in reality, but she's a ghost, right? And then she's like, I'm gonna give you everything I have, and almost like obliterating her as a ghost. Like, she's saying like, the only thing keeping me alive is this life, but you need to save Rey or help Rey or whatever. She survives him. He climbs up.
This is your
now
path
it makes sense, like, that he didn't just like live down there,
right.
You know. And he climbs up, and then he either sacrifices himself or whatever you guys want to do. But at that rate, it's like makes more sense. Him climbing up, I feel just feels off. Like,
you don't feel like, I think he got knocked down and was like hanging on to the side of the. You know,
why not show that?
Because why would you?
I don't know, but why not show that?
I know. I wanted more Kylo.
Or at least show him hitting and falling and then landing, and then like him moving, that he's still able to walk. Cause
his legs hurt.
To me, that hole looked like the end of the world, of the road.
Isn't that the same hole Palpatine fell down?
No, that was a Death Star, but like it was like reminiscent of that, and that's why he says just like your grandfather, whatever, just like the Skywalker before you.
Yeah,
but
dude,
that part there. If they just show either A, him getting revived, or B, him landing and like grunting, that like, okay, I'm still alive, and maybe he looks up and there's a shot of his back, and it's like insanely high, and then the shot is him. The shot of him is starting to climb, and then it goes back to Rey, and you're like, Kylo's coming back. Or Ben, he's trying to climb up right now, and now you're like, kind of like, Ben, where the fuck are you?
Right.
And then she dies, and you're like, oh my god, he didn't get here in time. It would have just been a little bit more drama instead of just. He doesn't
even get to wield his mom's lightsaber.
I know, and I thought he was
that
going
was the one she was gonna give him.
I know, and she doesn't, and she gives him Luke's. It doesn't make sense, and especially when Luke said, "Bring the lightsaber."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I was like, Ben is definitely going to use it.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't use it. So I don't know, dude. There's weird editing in this movie.
Yeah, did you see the whole thing with like that kiss? It's like
the shot with the hand.
That he was talking to Leia, and
they smashed two shots together or something. I don't know what they did.
Yeah, because one scene he's gloved, and the other is like, I don't know. Fuck.
I think
You're telling me you weren't mad about the Knights of Ren?
I was. I mean, but I saw, as a Star Wars fan, I'm used to getting disappointed by cool things. Just like Darth Maul, right? Like we're just used to like having cool looking people just be useless.
But
like
again,
stormtroopers are like the coolest thing, right?
That was JJ's baby in The Force Awakens, and he gets the third movie back, and he's like, cool, I'm gonna do the Knights of Ren.
But dude, you have no time.
You can make more time.
He has no time.
You go to Kathleen Kennedy and say, look, this movie needs to be 3 hours. It needs to be 3:15.
Then that's what I'm saying.
Here's what I
Whose fault is it at that point?
Yeah, what are those meetings, dude?
I don't know.
That's going to be like the new, if you could time travel, where would you go? Like
I would go to those meetings.
You wouldn't go to kill Hitler. You would like go to save Star Wars, literally.
Yeah, I don't know what it looks like, but, they were in it. Now they're out in the book. And they have individual, each one has individual skill sets and and they all have names now and stuff. But
okay.
Dude, just get over it. It's
no,
fucking over.
Can I add,
dead.
like, I know, dude. But wait, you're going, like, there's a brotherhood. Again, it goes back to this. Oh, yeah. Same issue with Hux. There's a brotherhood.
This is a huge fight for Ben, and it doesn't feel big at all.
And he overpowers them.
Well, he gets wrecked.
He gets wrecked because he doesn't have a lightsaber, but also because there's 7 of them.
Yeah, well, that doesn't make sense
with
either.
With heavy ass machetes.
That like he gets wrecked, but I mean, he uses the force push on one
Yeah,
of them,
he
but
he
like
does.
he's like trying, and he does get overpowered, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, kind of makes sense.
Right.
But then he pulls out the lightsaber, and they're all useless. Like, come
They-
on, the Praetorian guards in 7
True.
they were blocking lightsabers. You would think the Knights of Ren would have armor to be able to like,
Especially when we're
withstand
told
stuff.
that they left the Jedi Temple with Kylo.
With Kylo.
Why?
So-
Why did they follow him?
So we're and this is, fuck, this is such good lore that I wish they would do. Like, were they force sensitive, or were
Right.
they just like followers of?
Weren't we
of
told
him?
that they like it's canon that they are force sensitive?
Well,
They're all Jedis.
we don't know if it's actually them because Luke says he churned, right?
Yeah.
And he took a group of they just say a group with him.
Yeah. Right.
And we don't know is that students or what. But if they were force sensitive, they would definitely be using the force in this movie, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand it. What if Knights of Ren were all if they were force sensitive, what if they all had lightsabers? How cool would that scene have been?
Yes.
How cool if they fucking
If
had
they unsheath their
yeah,
sword.
yeah,
And it's a fucking
like
lightsaber.
you think it's a big old axe, and then he's
Yes.
like, and
Yeah.
you're like, fuck, that would have been badass.
And so this huge fight scene with Knights of Ren
So
is
it's
3
just-
minutes, and
it's
Kylo
wasted,
obliterates
bro.
them.
Yeah, it's disappointing. It's
I couldn't
wasted.
get a longer scene with them. I'm sorry, like I can't. Get
It is
a
wasted,
little bit more.
and then, the last one dies like stupidly too. The
Falling
whole,
down the thing, right?
he like jumps over him and stabs him. I'm like, like the guy doesn't even move. He just gets stabbed in the back.
like what shit is coming?
Yeah, it would have been fucking lit if they were all pulled out a lightsaber and Kylo. I don't know. He overpowers him, or Rey, or they would have to rewrite this whole end.
You know what
part.
I would have wanted? I wanted like Kylo's lightsaber to like slash one of their masks, right? And we see like an eye of like
yeah.
brotherhood of like, why would you do this to me? You were my brother. Like,
Yeah,
why
they
would
could
you
bring
do
that line back,
like,
dude.
why the fuck would you
If they
say
brought that line back, it would have been.
You're
good.
gonna bring it with Finn, like
Yeah.
traitor. You're gonna make
Yeah.
it seem like okay, yeah, you're such a betrayal. You're not gonna do that with Kylo and like him turning his back on this whole family
Dude,
that he
would
like.
have been sick. Okay,
Dude, yeah, you just
say
see
they
one eye,
redo
right?
the last part where Rey and Kylo are in the throne room with Palpatine,
In
and
Last Jedi?
Palpatine.
Oh, no,
yeah,
no.
in this
Gotcha,
movie.
yeah.
And Palpatine's like, really, Ben, or whatever he wants to call him,
Yeah,
Kylo,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I don't. He's got 20
Son
names.
of
Yeah.
Vader. Yeah.
You're gonna churn on your brothers, and they walk out. Knights of Ren, dude, and we have a rehash of the Praetorian Guard scene
Yeah.
from Last Jedi.
Which was a cool scene. Yeah.
But these motherfuckers pull out lightsabers. You're the 9th movie. You're
Yeah.
going bonkers, right? You're trying
Roll
to
the
go
fuck
all
out.
out. Yeah.
Ball
and,
out.
And you're like, oh, they have axes. Like, what the fuck are they
Yeah.
gonna do? Rey and Kylo, it's gonna be easy. And they just like 7
Like
sabers.
different colors, dude.
Yeah.
If it was different, well,
Why
the
can't
Sith,
they
though.
do shit like that, bro?
Because they didn't hire.
Now
us,
I gotta
bro.
wait for a fan film for that shit to come out. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Or a comic book.
But it would have been sick. And then Palpatine like teasing Ben, like, you're really gonna turn your back on your family. Like,
Yeah.
okay, Knights of Ren.
Or like even so he says I've been every voice inside your head. Like
Yeah.
maybe even him saying that he's been controlling the Knights of Ren. Like your brothers that you thought were your brothers, that was me.
Or they're
I've
just
been doing
mine,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, like I've been doing this whole
Fuck,
time.
dude.
Where's our check, dude?
I gotta go.
Incoming call from Kathleen.
No, I didn't mean anything I said on the pod. No,
No. Keep the check. Keep the check. Yeah, sign it. Yeah. Okay.
Kathleen, you're great. You're great at Lucasfilm. No,
I'm sorry, but we're going to Netflix.
I'm totally
Yeah.
with you. We talked about some things we like. We talked about a lot of things we don't like. I think Palpatine being back, like we said, wasn't planned, but they still kind of made it work.
Yeah.
The first part you're saying, like where he's like basically expositioning the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's gotta be there.
Are you saying Palpatine's like voiceover
Talking to
monologue?
Kylo,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it has to be there because
Yeah.
there's no time. But I kind of dig that part because again, I love the aesthetic of Exegol and
Yeah.
like Kylo being scared there, and he's like looking
But
around.
he doesn't look that scared.
I know, but he's like, you could tell he's like, where the fuck am I?
Also, it would have been a cooler scene if they didn't release it 2 days before the movie started, and I
Exactly,
didn't.
yeah.
I didn't.
and
like,
I don't
rewatch
follow
it 50
Star Wars on
times.
everything, and they
Yeah.
fucking put it everywhere. Yeah, I think that is just again like if they would have done that first scene we saw would have been the last scene in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have been okay with that.
Kylo gets a call while he's in his ship after they fought.
He gets the broadcast.
Yeah, and he's like, the fuck?
This is the start of the broadcast that we
or
get.
Or not even that. It's just Palpatine talking straight to Kylo, and he's like, go to these coordinates.
Ooh.
And he goes, and that's the scene.
Yeah.
And Kylo goes to kill him because he's like, oh, no one can be more powerful than me.
Yeah. Or it's even Vader's voice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, or grandson, go to these coordinates.
Technically, we never heard Kylo talking to Vader in his head.
Right.
But like every voice inside your head, we hear Snoke, we hear Palpatine.
It would have been cool to hear Vader.
Yeah.
And he's like, go to these coordinates.
Yeah.
So I can see you or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And Kylo rushes there, and then he's like, what the fuck? This is whack.
Scared,
and you see the Snoke clones, and after Snoke had just died, and now you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you hear at last, dude. Him saying
no,
at
it
last
was
creepy.
Yes, dude. His whole thing was creepy. I agree.
love the aesthetic of the Emperor like this, but it's
watching
just not.
that Fortnite clip. Why is it in Fortnite and not in a big screen movie?
It's in Fortnite. They didn't put it in a main game.
Who plays Fortnite?
Like they didn't even put it in Battlefront, like one of their bigger games right now. Like they put it in.
Are you sure it's not like? Can Disney sue them for that?
No, Disney made the partnership with Fortnite.
Why?
Dude.
Because 12-year-olds are
money,
what they're
bro.
watching? I
freaking
can't.
Money.
Yeah,
yes.
guys, listen to that Fortnite clip. It's creepy. If I heard that broadcast in the movie, would have been creeped out.
Exactly. And you can, Why can't we just hear the broadcast? Why can't we just hear it?
Literally, why?
Because they didn't have one. They're like, oh shit, we gotta.
After the movie was released, they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, the editors are all, wait, the Emperor's here. We didn't even explain that yet. They're like, oh, we'll do it in the crawl. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So
no, we got this game. It's called Fortnite. Everyone loves it.
We have a deal. We gotta wait.
Just slip it in there, dude.
So I think we've made some good changes. I think this movie could have been amazing.
We've reached a brotherhood, dude. I expected more animosity.
No, I'm totally for why people think or why people hate it, or they think it's not good. And I think a majority of them thinking it's not good is because of the lack of success in just basic filmmaking, like telling a story, writing characters, and that stuff. I think overall the movie is very visually amazing, like pleasing. There's awesome scenes in this movie.
It's not the best, but
there's too many MacGuffins, and I'm fine for MacGuffins if this was the second movie.
Yes, and you're introducing characters like it's the second movie.
Exactly. So
and these characters
it's just
mean
so
nothing.
weird. It's so weird, but I had a really good time. I mean, I love Rey and Kylo fighting over the ship, and her shooting the lightning. I'm actually for them killing Chewie there.
Yes.
Because Rey needs consequence for her actions.
Well, and characters need to die.
Yeah, and characters need to die, and it would have enhanced Rey's story that she just is realizing that she is evil or thinks she needs to be evil because of the lineage thing.
Right.
But she's realizing she has all this power, and look what it does. You could kill somebody you love just like that. Yep. And I would have been down. It may have not have sat well with a lot of fans because they like Chewie.
Yeah.
But like, where's Chewie going from this point on? Like
Leia.
I know that Leia scene. Well, you move Leia up to the beginning, and now so. Regardless, I think that's a really cool scene.
Wait. Speaking of Chewie with Leia, though, so we get that really emotional scene of him learning that she died, right? And then like 15 minutes later, it's like, oh, they're going to join the fight again. He's just sitting there, and then he's
depressed.
Like, okay.
Yeah, he's depressed, and the guy goes, "We need you," and he's all, "Okay."
What the fuck,
dude? It's so fast paced.
But literally, Chewie's wrecked. Like that's his family, and he's just sitting there.
Well, now he's essentially lost like everyone he
it.
loves except Rey at that point.
But still, he's like, fuck it, I'll go. It
would have been crazier if Rey was the one that killed him, especially since he loves Rey like Han almost.
Yeah.
And like, holy shit, it would have, and then I hate when movies tell the audience something that the members don't know so blatantly.
What do you mean?
Like where Chewie's alive, and then all the next 2 minutes is the main group going for Chewie, and it's like it doesn't feel earned at all. You're just kind of like, He's alive.
Yeah, then we just saw him and it seemed like,
and he's alive.
You're
oh my
right,
god.
you're
I don't really like
you're
that. I
right.
like when they do other stuff like hint at like maybe stuff that's gonna happen later on, but just like characters being dead that aren't dead.
That we know of, that the that the I get what you're
especially
saying.
after like Ray Daisy Ridley does a bone chilling like yell for Chewie, and I was like, oh god, like I actually thought he was dead, and I was kind of pissed, honestly. I looked at Brooke and I was like, they really fucking killed Chewie like that. But at the same time, I think about it now that I've seen it twice, and I'm like, that would be consequence, and Ray has no consequences ever, like for anything really. She throws her lightsaber, gets caught, like it's just like everything is just handed to her. It's kind of annoying. And Kylo, that's why I like Kylo's story more. He's dealing with the shit.
Well, okay, I low-key laughed though when Chewie got caught. Like, he's walking, like, go find Rey. Okay, he walks, and then the next scene we just see him change.
Yeah.
Like,
and then get in there, you animal. Like, what the fuck, dude? It is so fast-paced.
Oh my God.
I think the first I think once the final third hits, the whole Exegol and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Like, that was where a lot of my enjoyment came from.
The
but
battle on Death Star.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, this would have been much better if it was the two movies, right? Like, dude, they would have had so many more moments to do. Maybe
lightsaber
even
scenes in this were not the best of the
oh,
series.
But they were good.
They were two characters fighting with emotion versus experience. You know what I mean?
Very powerful.
Yeah, they're powerful Jedi, but they're whacking each other like they hate each other, right? They're not like calculating.
It's not your like Duel of Fates like
exactly
episode
where it's like
1
very like it's skilled master Jedi of like good versus evil. It's two characters that have this bond that are like just fucking like why would you do
they're
this?
wailing on each other.
Yeah, they're wailing each other.
I said that.
They both get exhausted. Like,
which is good.
And they give each other a break. Like Rey at one point, like, she's shaking her hand or like she takes a breather and Kylo like lets her. Like he doesn't like, he like lets her do it.
Yeah. I think, because Kylo isn't even really trying to kill her.
That's true.
He's like, he wants her to join him. So it's kind of like he's just toying with her almost.
Yeah.
And thank God he fucking can hold his own now. I mean, like he could
always fight.
Not in Force Awakens. He gets slashed, and she has no experience.
Shot, dude.
Oh yeah,
he was shot. He was shot in the stomach, and he just killed his dad. Dude.
Yo, but the Force in the fights is amazing.
Oh,
thank God they did that.
Yeah, when they did the lightsaber and stopped the lightsaber.
In the edit, it like deteriorating.
That was really cool. Oh, Sam's sound effects,
dude. I did all the sound effects for the movie, bro.
Dude, everyone's loving your sound effects, bro. We're getting good.
I just love sound. Sound just gets me wet, so it's like
I can't do that shit.
Audio is like the key. When that scene was really cool. I don't know. I heard a lot of reviewers like Jeremy Jans. He said like he felt like they were just going for they were desperate to go for epicness. Just for epicness' sake, not just for not for the moment. Like he was referring to that fight on the Death Star, like this, huge waves and stuff. I didn't feel that. I felt like it was a cool fight. I think,
it was a rebirth.
Yeah, I thought it was like Nicole said, it's not like technically pleasing or anything, but you could feel the emotion in there. Like Kylo is wailing on Rey, and Rey is,
he held
she's
her
more
saber longer
agile
than she did, by the way.
Dude,
I got my boy.
Shit, bro. That's really cool. Of course, she wins on the cheap shot. Like, again, he's about to murder her. Honestly, at that point.
Well,
because she wasn't stopping. I think he was like fed up with it at that point. He's like, I'm just gonna kill you.
Well, and then
cool scene, and I honestly, Leia doesn't even say anything, and I got chills.
Yeah.
You could.
Well, she says Ben.
Yeah, well, she says that, but I think everyone has their own conversation in their head. Like they left it up to the audience. Like, what would you want to hear if you were Ben at this moment?
Right.
So you kind of had that because people can relate to Kylo.
Yeah.
And with their struggles, and I think everyone had their own mom-son talk at that point, or mom-daughter talk, and I guess the scene's cool that she catches and stabs him, but it's then she just heals him, so it's almost pointless. to even
it's
stab
almost
him.
just to, like, that's a flex.
Yeah,
like,
it's almost
hey,
like a cool scene. I want a
Yeah.
cool scene, but like, let's just keep him alive. And I don't think that was a mortal wound for Kylo.
I mean, it looked pretty gnarly.
It looked gnarly, but I don't think that was gonna kill him. I mean, he's sitting there, and love it. They don't even talk there.
Oh yeah, that was
really
great.
good acting there.
Well, even
between them, and this
Kylo's
movie has its moments, right?
Yeah.
It's flawed, but it just has like
throughout
those
this
moments.
trilogy. There's
yeah,
been
and
moments.
the trilogy is just. I think it's just call it the trilogy of moments because there's just moments that
that's
you're
the
like,
soundtrack.
yeah.
The trilogy.
There's moments where you're like, wow, that's really good, like acting and everything. Like it's almost like everything became cohesive for a second.
Yes.
And then
it's like a
away.
brief moment of, oh, this is what it could be.
Yeah, and then it kind of goes away. So
when Kylo's talking to Han and he's that moment when this was a fan servicey moment, but holy shit, it worked. When Kylo's like, Dad, and he wants to say I love you, and Han says I know. I got about to cry just thinking about that.
And that is fan service for
holy shit.
And that is fan service for Empire Strikes Back.
But that was so good.
It's such a powerful scene.
Adam Driver did amazing.
Also, Han is not a Force ghost. It's a memory. They literally said it, so everyone's saying Han being a Force ghost is wrong. Like, come on, guys.
He can have the Force though, bro.
I know he could,
I know.
but like, they literally say it. Like,
that's
I'm a memory of
like,
yours.
I'm in your head.
Yeah, but that was
so
really powerful.
good.
And again, I really like the scene because it's Kylo reflecting you. To me, although this is the first time the audience is seeing this, I think Kylo's had this multiple times.
Right.
He's replayed this in his head ever since he killed his dad. And, this is him finally replaying it to where he did the right thing, right? He finally threw away his saber and renounced Kylo Ren.
Yes. So when I first watched it, I was... The moment was really emotional for me, but I was kind of like, oh, why did they have to use the same lines from Force Awakens? Yeah. But I watched it a second time, and I was
realize that he's replaying it.
Well, like they did the same lines because it has new meaning to it now, and I didn't even think of that. Like he's replayed it.
He's replaying that moment
where it's like the same moment, but it's a different. This time it means what it meant in the Force Awakens, because there's a theory, like I mentioned, I forgot what episode, that Han. Helped him kill him. So maybe that's really what happened, and Kylo's been wrecked with that of like...
It didn't work, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I really like that theory when you brought that up. So he throws a saber. He becomes Ben. I really love him as Ben.
His little PJs.
Yeah,
so cute.
He runs like Han and stuff and shoots.
Oh my God, his little.
He does the shot without looking, which is like callback to Han.
So good.
And he's like quirky and I wanted more of that. And again, if you did 2 and 3, and you did 2 where you either end 2 where he's still Kylo and he meets the Emperor, or maybe you end 2 where he turns to Ben and you have a whole movie
of him
with him as Ben and Rey, and they're working together. And then if you do kill Ben at the end, at least we've seen him enough, and we saw his sacrifice, and we saw him on the light side, not this whole like 3-minute thing. So I would have bought it more if they killed Ben in the third one, if he had turned in the second one,
or if he turned halfway through.
And this is
movie.
What I had said in the Last Jedi review, where I said, okay, you made him evil because he had his choice in that Last Jedi movie, and he decided, I'm going Supreme Leader.
True.
And then now again we're changing it again. It's like, come on, just fucking go with it.
Yeah.
It's fine if a guy we like doesn't turn good.
Yeah.
But him as Ben was really fun. So I really liked him as Ben. I thought, he doesn't even, like you said, he has like no lines in this movie. He's probably fewest lines in the movie.
But it proves that he can act without saying anything. Yeah. But still, like, why? I want him to talk.
When he fights Knights of Ren, he does the shrug when he gets the lightsaber.
Why did he do that? Like, why was it like it was like my whole audience like kind of like was like, oh fuck yeah, but like why?
It's funny because Knights of Ren doesn't talk, so they do the little where you see them like, oh fuck, like what?
Like how the fuck?
Yeah, like how did you just get that? And it's Kylo. He knows that they're like confused by that, and he's just kind of like. Too bad, like it's happening.
Right.
I got a saber now. Yeah, I think that just tells a lot about his personality as Ben, and it would have been really cool to see him more as Ben. Like, That's
Oh, man,
and I
yeah.
think a lot of people.
You're making me sad.
Yeah.
now.
Well, I think a lot of people were like, I really like Kylo.
Yeah.
And I don't think we were really playing or thinking about what Ben would look like. And now that we got the briefness of Ben, I think a lot of people are on board for Ben.
Yes.
And that's what makes it the most disappointing is we're not going to get it because he fucking dies.
Yep.
And if they kept him alive, maybe we have a spin-off show or something. Whatever, but like now he's dead. Yeah. I mean, now he's dead. So why kill him? Why kill him?
And even the Knights of Ren are dead, so you can't have a spin-off show with them.
Can't have that. I thought they were going to do something like that too.
I thought
Can't have it
JJ
with him.
said that he wanted to do something like that.
Dude, he's done. He's done. And you know what really pisses me off? Really, really pisses me off is when JJ did Force Awakens, they had asked, Kathleen Kennedy had asked, can you do all three?
And he said
and
he didn't
he
want
said
to.
no.
Yeah.
Because one, it was Force Awakens was also a mess in production, like with reshoots.
Right.
And he didn't want to deal with the stress, and he had other
Wow.
projects, and now I feel like he's probably regretting it.
Of like not taking all
Yeah,
three.
I'm not taking all three, or probably after Last Jedi came
why the
out, he's
fuck
probably
would
like,
you-
"Fuck, I should have done all three." I
Or
feel like
just
for
don't
me
ask
as a
JJ.
director, if I was a director, and yes, it's a huge task, and he was reluctant at the beginning. When they brought him for Force Awakens, he's like, "There's no way." Like, that's way too much pressure for me to bring back a series, after all this time with all these fans. If I were to have made that leap, I think I would have done all three. I would have been like, yeah, it's my baby now.
Yeah.
Like, this is my trilogy. I want
real.
to tell these stories, and I don't want anyone else touching it. Now, a lot of people also complain, well, why are you switching directors? We know they've done that in the original trilogy. They had 3 different directors, George and the other directors. And they worked fine. The sequel or the prequel trilogy is all George Lucas, but
like in the originals, each movie got better.
yeah, and in the originals you have different directors but same writers. Now in Last Jedi you brought in different writers and stuff with Rian Johnson.
Ryan wrote that.
Yeah, he wrote.
He writes and directs
but
all
there's
of his
like
movies.
there's like 60 writers on these movies.
True.
And then you had Ryan, directing and writing.
Yeah.
And then when JJ came back, they brought back other writers who went and did Force Awakens.
Brought back the writer who did Batman versus Superman, dude.
Yeah, and JJ helped write this too. But you can, but are you with me? You can see that this feels like the Force Awakens writing style than it does the Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
Absolutely.
it's just sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
So, I'm really for more Ben, but
we just gotta rely on the Mandalorian and
yeah, now we
Disney Plus for
the rumor is that
future.
the rumors that Jon Favreau might step up as head of Lucasfilm.
Oh really?
And kicks
Because
Kathleen
of how
Kennedy
good
out of the
how
way.
good
Yeah.
the Mandalorian's
Well,
been.
yeah, and because of just the failure of the trilogy, like, yes, it made them money and stuff, but like as
Who
a
would have
whole,
thought, dude? Jon Favreau.
he's doing a good job. So,
Damn.
and each episode is directed by a different person,
Different
and it
director.
feels like it's still the same show. So,
What happened, man?
man, what else did I like in it? I do love him slaughtering people. Like, I think the way that we thought about it with Leia dying, that adds so much more weight.
Yeah.
So that's on Mustafar, and that is Vader's Wayfinder. But again,
does
we're
that
not
mean?
like that's Vader's thing.
Have we seen him have it before?
No, but that's in like lore and stuff, and that's
That he has a
and,
Wayfinder
yeah, and
to
they're-
what? To the Sith planet?
to like the Sith planet.
Just
like
to
all
power
Sith
up?
have. Okay, Wayfinder first
Okay,
off is
okay.
weird because Wayfinder, I don't even think are things in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Maybe if nerds out there know, but I know that holocrons are. You
'Kay.
have your Jedi holocron and you have your Sith holocron.
They're the
and-
same shape too.
Yeah,
right?
and, well, the Sith one is triangular and the Jedi one's square. They hold information,
Okay.
and that's basically what this is. I don't know why they wrote it that way. Maybe I don't know, but I would like to view it as like a holocron. Like that's Vader's holocron
Right.
that has the information to get to Exegol, and I guess it makes sense. They would all have that to meet in the Sith world, and
Yeah.
at a time when it was.
But also the stone box that's holding it is just out in the open
Yeah,
like that.
that's why
like-
I'm like, that's why it's weird because if they're saying like Disney's saying that's Vader's holocron
Okay.
or Wayfinder, and that's Vader's cultist group, and we're on Mustafar.
Yeah.
But we don't get Vader's castle. Like fucking Rogue One had Vader's castle.
But we're also not gonna see them like be like, oh shit, this is Vader's grandson.
Yeah, and how cool would it have been if he's doing all this stuff in Vader's castle?
Yeah.
And you see, like encryptions of like Vader and stuff, and like they don't have to blatantly say we're going to Vader's castle, but like even in Rogue One they just showed it. And everyone knew.
I don't remember that. I need to
it's
watch.
When he goes in.
I haven't watched it since it came out.
Yeah, he gets choked out, but.
Well, we only see Vader in the last scene.
No, you see him when he gets choked out.
Fuck, I need to watch Rogue One again.
Yeah,
Dude,
you'll see it. You're gonna like it like way more than
probably,
this.
yeah, for sure.
I think
saw it in theaters,
honestly, out of all the new movies, I think Rogue One is my favorite.
Yeah.
Solo is the last of the bunch.
Yeah.
So out of the newest stuff, it'd be like Rogue One. Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi, Solo. Out of the Disney movie, that's
Mandalorian, Rogue One.
Mandalorian,
yeah.
But
we have to rank this one, don't we?
We do. And our trilogy ranking.
Oh, trilogy! I was thinking of the whole thing.
Do you want to do a full 9 ranking? We'll post that on like.
Yeah,
Instagram
we have to post that somewhere else.
What else do you have? Do you have anything else? I think the MacGuffin of the knife is stupid. The Sith knife. I think the Sith knife is cool.
Yeah.
I think
it worked way too easy.
What? Yeah, it's a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
What the fuck is she looking for when she pulls the protractor thing out?
Yeah, exactly. Like
I've seen it twice now, and I'm like, I still don't know what we're looking at.
Yeah, or like, the shape just magically fits into the outline.
Is that what it did? It fit?
That's what it did.
The triangle at the end fits somewhere? I'm confused.
It was the knife originally, right?
Yeah.
And you pull the protractor out.
Yeah.
And that points. So when she held it sideways to the skyline, the ridges in the knife lined up with whatever the Death Star shape was, and the thing she pulled out pointed to where the Wayfinder was.
Jesus
Math
Christ.
meme. you didn't see that? Because the ridges like lined up with the mountains.
The knife outline matches the mountains.
Yeah. And then
the thing, okay. I was looking at the point only, and I'm like, I don't understand what I'm looking at.
Oh, yeah. So I like the ridges, yeah.
Okay. When I watch it the third time, I'll fucking.
There you go.
But, okay, you're telling me that knife matches the Death Star that's destroyed and flew from space into a planet.
Dude,
like,
I'm stupid. I didn't even think of that.
Was it created after that or before that? Like, it sounded like it was created before that.
Well, because that Death Star was from the 6th movie.
Yeah, that's the second Death Star. Death Star
Return of the Jedi, where Luke battled Vader.
Yeah,
and whatever.
And that's where. Ultimately, Palpatine.
So when
Palpatine
Luke and what's his name? Fuck.
Vader?
No, Luke and Han's best friend.
Lando.
When Luke and Lando were in the desert looking for this guy, it was after that battle.
Okay, so maybe it was created after. But it
was like a legendary knife.
Yeah, it's a legendary knife. Like the knife is telling you the way to the holocron, which is in the Death Star. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but like the holocron is supposed to be this legendary Sith thing that's lived for generations.
So it would have been like this knife is ancient.
But they're saying it was basically they're saying it's created
after the crash when someone said, "Where's the holocron? Oh, it's here.
Which
I'm gonna make a knife that
But which is how the Star Wars timeline is being settled now, right? It's like ABY, BBY.
Oh,
it's like after the Battle of Yavin.
Oh, is that how they do it?
What's Yavin?
Yavin is the moon of Endor.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's
one
how
of the
they're
moons.
doing it.
There's 4 moons on Endor.
When did we learn that?
That's just known, like
how?
Star Wars
like why?
That's just known Star Wars
but
stuff.
Why? Like, why is it important that Endor has 4 moons?
I don't know, because you.
Endor's the Ewok planet.
Yes.
And that's the planet.
Yes.
So that planet has 4 moons.
Yes, and the Death Star was there, stationed there, and they had the shields on Endor, and that's when Han and them go down to the planet.
Okay, I remember that.
Yavin, one of the Yavins, I think it's Yavin 4. So I think the 4 moon.
Okay.
Yavin 4 is like one of the rebel bases.
Oh, that's why they're numbered.
Yeah.
And the rebels are good guys.
Yes.
Okay. Don't make that face.
But yeah, so the knife thing makes no sense. I
Yeah.
think again, if we hash this out in 2 and 3, but we're not gonna get it. We have to judge it off what we got. Like
We gotta film our own, man.
I literally have to fantasize about what it would be like, and that's what's the worst part about it.
That's very that sucks.
Yeah. Jonna, I don't really mind Jonna. I think she's a cool character. I think it's kind of cool building on Finn's world with the renounced stormtroopers.
But
But
pointless.
again, pointless. Why even introduce more characters?
And she's
here?
supposed to be Lando's daughter.
You're kicking out Rose, and then you're introducing more characters. It doesn't make sense.
Characters that you'll never or basically oh, here's a Disney Plus show for you.
Honestly,
And I don't care.
my take is that they said, "Hey JJ, here's Jonna. She's gonna have a Disney Plus show next year, and you need to have her in the movie, okay?" And he said, imagine he literally had Rose going around, and he's
right.
I already had Rose. Like, you want me to what? I had more people.
They Lakeithed her, bro.
And they look either, and they call the Rose up, and they're like, "Hey, we need to reshoot your scenes."
Oh my! That literally is what it felt like.
And then she shows up on set, reads her line. She's like, "Wait, what?"
Literally one line per scene.
Yeah. Oh, I'm staying here to study Death Stars or Star Destroyers with the General.
Oh, I hear the broadcast.
And Finn goes, "Cool, you should do that."
Oh my god!
What the fuck? It's so funny. What is another? I already talked about the Holdo line. We'll talk about the Luke line.
What Luke line?
Where she throws a lightsaber and he says, "These weapons don't deserve to be disrespected."
I'm sorry.
You're telling me.
But that was another fuck you.
That's a throw. That's a jab
flex.
at Last Jedi. And I don't care. There's fans that liked the movie and they're defending that line, saying that he's building on the Last Jedi story.
Yeah.
Where he's saying like Luke learned his lesson,
right,
but
right.
Come on,
No,
he didn't write it.
No,
He specifically wrote it, and and Luke, Mark Hamill even acted it like he was writing it that way.
Because Mark Hamill didn't like.
Yeah, he didn't like what they did, so I'm sure he was all for it.
Yeah.
And I laughed, and I was like, honestly, I'm down with that because I hated that scene, and you know that. But
I know.
But
it does make no sense.
It does make no sense. And hey, if you want to say it's building on Luke's story, I guess it is. You know, he did throw it away, and now he's learning his lesson. Whatever. We'll PR it that way, that we wrote it that way. But I thought that was funny. But again, dick measuring contest just doesn't work in movies, guys.
No, we don't need to see it.
I did like the moment though with Luke, and I do like him pulling the X-wing out. It's the Yoda song when Yoda does it for him in Revenge of the Sith. So I really do like that moment.
That was really cool.
Like
whole flashback with
Bryant had said in the beginning of the review, he she pulls the Wayfinder out of the burnt TIE fighter and it works. Like it's just stuff is just there.
It doesn't burn her.
Yeah,
exactly. Like
I don't know, Sith powers, bro. It's protected, bro.
The dark side, the dark science of the dark side.
Some consider it unnatural. I'm so down he said that because
oh my god,
people are mad they don't explain how he lived, but that was him explaining how he lived.
I guess. Sure,
yeah, like
but
that.
I don't know. You're gonna tell me you're gonna bring back Palpatine, and he has this whole fucking fleet, and each fleet has a Death Destroyer on it.
Death Star on it, yeah.
But why? Like, why does he want to destroy the whole universe? I don't get it. Doesn't he want to rule the whole universe?
He just likes to blow shit up.
No, bro. I need backstory.
How about,
you know me.
I
like my
the
backstory.
Kajimi was a cool planet. I liked Babu Freak, bro.
Dude, my whole theater liked Babu Freak. I was annoyed, dude.
He looked like a little ball sack.
I hate it. Well, I didn't hate him, but I was just like, come on. Like, you're going to give these little characters as meme content.
Yeah, that's Star Wars, though, dude. They've been doing that from the beginning. Ewoks, Jar Jar, Babu.
Lucas did not make Ewoks to be memes, dude.
They were cute and fun.
But everyone hated them. They were the Jar Jar of that series before Jar Jar.
I know. The original trilogy lovers hate the Ewoks. The prequel trilogy lovers hate Jar Jar, a.k.a. us. And now who's going to hate Babu? No one.
Don't call me out, bro. I don't hate him. I was just like, it just felt
funny.
like another. He was funny.
I did like that they were trying. I say trying, but they were trying to build on Poe's story.
Yeah.
I think he's an interesting character, and we never got any backstory. And I think it's cool that he was, druggy. Spice runners, drugs.
Oh.
Yeah. He didn't run spices for Winco. He actually pushed drugs. But I coming from someone who you thought was so like the resistance, right? Like he's so for it. So would be cool to see a backstory on him. Maybe that was Kathleen Kennedy's. Hey, so Poe Dameron's gonna have a Disney Plus show.
No, he's gonna have a book.
Yeah, he's gonna have a book, and he was a spice runner on Kijimi, and JJ said, "What the fuck's Kijimi? What's a spice runner?" And
yeah, because he literally destroys Kijimi, and you're telling me she survived. Her and Babu
I don't know.
happened to
that part was so stupid.
Yeah, I hated.
I was down for them to be dead.
And also, her outfit
did you
was
like
great.
that part of them destroying Kijimi? How it was the old style way of blowing up the planet. Like, did you notice the planet looked like?
Awakens?
No, that we saw in like the original trilogy.
Oh, like when it
it
showed
looks,
the whole planet.
Yeah, and it looks like cardboard.
Clay. Yeah,
like clay.
Yeah,
that was a really cool callback.
Yeah,
Just
that was
like
cool.
a pay homage to the
I didn't notice that.
old style. Someone was like groaning about it. They're like, "Why does it look so weird?" And I was like, "Bro, that's like the OG.
Yeah.
That's like the cardboard circle that they blow up."
Yeah.
I like that.
Cut it out.
I like that part. I don't know. I think I liked Carrie Russell as Zori.
No, I mean, sure she was fine.
She's
but
cool.
like,
I think her aesthetic looks cool.
I didn't like it.
But she's a little too like. Here's like this ultimate key. Like, go take it. Like, they obviously have a love interest, but they don't. It's
but
so
also,
weird.
like, her conversation, her lines felt really stilted. Like, not that it matters, but I like you. Or,
yeah,
like, I think
that
you're
didn't
cool.
make sense.
And like,
no,
Ray's
she's like, I think you're okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Like, what? You just wanted to kill her and turn her in for bounty?
Again, everything is so like easy, convenient. Right. Everything's so convenient.
So it's lazy.
Yeah, and it's lazy because again, we're not pulling a 4-hour movie. Things can't get explained, and I think that's the pain point of this movie is it has to be rushed, so things just feel weird. Another thing I liked again is the force skyping and transferring of objects through that. And
when the red beads.
They made it. They closed their loose ends, because Star Wars fans were probably freaking out. No, this can never be done. We've never seen this before. They say it's a dyad. It's something special that hasn't been seen in hundreds of generations.
Right.
Like it's special, and only they can do that.
Yes. Oh, that's what they're implying. Mm-hmm. Okay, that only two people. Okay.
That they could do that because of the way they were born and like who they were born from and those types of things. More to explore. More to explore and like Force stuff, but they're building on Rian Johnson there, which I like.
Yes.
And I think that they fucking fighting through that was kind of cool.
Yeah, well, like the cuts when she's in his quarters and he's on Kijimi, and it like the camera's rotating, right? And it like
that's my shot. I love actually.
What?
I'm just gonna say it.
wait,
it
like
is. when she's okay. They're force skyping, and she's literally on Kijimi, and the camera rotates and it turns into her where she is literally his quarters. Yeah.
Oh yeah, his quarters.
But she's walking with the camera.
Yes.
I think that's a really cool edit there.
That's really cool. I like that a lot.
I think these little shining moments are like from before they reshot.
They reshot this movie?
They reshot a lot of this movie.
Oh, that's right.
Like 40% of the final act was reshot.
That was halfway point.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of these moments we like were like it felt like they put time and effort into it. Was like from before the reshoots, and then they had to staple all these reshoots behind it. So, yeah. So like that was a cool moment. I think.
Yeah.
I would have liked to for a funny gag. I don't know if I would have. It sounds like I would like it saying it, but I don't know if I would like it in like seeing it in practice. But like seeing that through the perspective of that stormtrooper of him just like talking and fighting like nothing, and you're just like. They do that a lot in the movies, and I was expecting that, but she's just standing there like. And then he's like, "She was in my quarters."
Well, they've kind of done that with Kylo's character in each. Like The Force Awakens, like when he's slashing his room and the guys are like walking past and they're like, "Oh shit," and they walk away. And then in this one, when the Knights of Ren like walk by and the two stormtroopers like look at each other like, "Oh, the Knights of Ren," like
I know the guys are cool. Stormtrooper.
Yeah, like no shit. Can we like go? Can we follow them?
Yeah. And their ship's all ugly and dirty, and they're like their dirt's like falling off them on their shiny floors. But it would have been funny to see that Stormtrooper just watch it, like, sir, sir, what are you doing, Kylo?
Yeah, that would have been really funny. That's like an SNL skit or something.
Do you like his new mask or no?
It doesn't mean anything.
I know.
So like it means jack shit.
And the Knights of Ren were with him when he rebuilt it.
Exactly. Like what does it mean?
Brotherhood, bro.
Okay, so how do you feel?
And who's that monkey thing building it?
It's James Franco's character from Planets of the Apes.
I'm done.
How do you feel about the parallels between Mandalorian and this? Like we were introduced to force healing in the Mandalorian. Sorry, spoilers alert. Spoiler alert. But like, and then we see it in here. It's like, did they mean to do that? Because the episode where he force heals in The Mandalorian was released the week before.
They literally pushed it up to show that, and I don't like that.
And then
people don't watch The Mandalorian, Disney. Not everyone watches it.
Like, you can't afford it.
Some people in the world just want to go see the Star Wars movie and not have to watch 50 shows to get the context for your movie.
So the introduction in this movie is her force healing a snake.
Yeah,
but and then even the Kylo's helmet, like it's reminiscent of the Mandalorian, like building his armor.
Yeah,
there's like I'm like, why?
I don't know. This? I think they could have done the force healing for Rey much easier or much better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like first off, they should have had that knowledge. We should have had the knowledge that Leia taught her how to do it. Because Luke, we've never seen do. So we're assuming Leia taught her.
Yeah, because Leia saved herself from space.
Yeah, and Leia saved herself from space. So, like, okay, it could be a thing, right?
So that's why Kylo has that power.
Yeah,
that makes sense. But
we should have seen her, like, in the training grounds, like, practicing that. Like, maybe she falls on the training thing, and then she, like, hurts her leg, and she heals it. You know,
or even does it to BB-8.
Yeah, or...
BB-8, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you can, you could dub Carrie Fisher's voice as like her training her and say like practice what we learned. Ooh. That's all she has to say, like literally just get some voice actor to do that, and then she like does the moment, heals herself, and you're like, wow, she could force heal.
Patience.
And now and now you see this, you could do it with the snake, whatever, but now we've seen it and we know she's been doing that, and
that was like a video game, dude. Like you heal the snake and it releases a doorway.
I know,
the doorway out, like, and like, you know, it shows your friends like, oh, look at me, you know.
But and then she uses the Jedi mind trick. You're happy that we're here. You're so happy that we're here. I'm relieved that
I'm so glad that you're here.
I think those are some cameo stormtroopers.
Yeah, I need to know who they are.
I know Kevin Smith was a stormtrooper,
oh, really?
And I haven't read where his part was, but I know there's some other cameo stormtroopers, and usually those are the parts that they're in. So I'm interested to see who those were. But
I'm sure the desert stormtroopers or somebody.
Yeah.
They really hung on like the one getting shot from the sky and like it rolls and like it just shows his body. Like, rolling.
Or the one that
like
spins and then blows up. It's like 20 seconds. I'm like, hello? Is he gonna die?
Yeah. All right, we get it.
Fuck. I wish one thing I wish is there more lightsaber battles. I know there's only the one.
Yep. Well, there's two.
Two where they force Skype.
And then him with Knights of Ren.
Yeah, but I really wish there was the one where she's on the Star Destroyer and before the Falcon comes to save her.
Oh.
And they fight there with all the stormtroopers watching. And I thought that's what they were going to do because it would have been a callback to like A New Hope when all the stormtroopers watched Vader and Obi-Wan fight in the hallway.
Oh,
and I was like, okay, maybe this is like the new take on it.
But that would have alluded to her being an Obi-Wan.
God damn it.
You know, like, which
it
they should have
been cool, though, to do another fight there. I mean, they could have. Or you do my idea and you make Knights of Ren have lightsabers, bro.
Dude, that's pretty sick.
That would be badass, man.
That'd be great.
My shirt would be worth $80 at
exactly. Like, the shirt is cool shirt, but like means nothing.
It's cool. I like it.
Why do they have ancient like swords? Why do they have axes and battle axes, you know?
I don't know, but they look badass, bro.
They really don't, though.
God damn. What else do you like? Anything else? Is that it?
I covered everything, man.
Dude, we did a lot of this movie.
And we kept we kept our cool, dude.
Yeah, we were very respectful. Sidious doing the ultimate power lightning shot.
Oh, that sound effect though.
That bass reverb.
Okay, but also that's a game ender. Like you do that,
Yeah.
everyone's dead.
Yeah, I would have liked if he actually destroyed ships.
Yeah.
Not
But they're
everyone, of course, because they got to win.
Right.
But like,
They're falling
they
in space
just
like
get-
you dead.
they just
You're
get
gonna
like
die.
they just lose their electronics.
And she's
but-
talking to those force voices for a while,
But we
to where
just-
they would
yeah.
have fallen by now.
Yeah, but we
or
just
crashed
saw-
into each other.
We just saw Herd blow up the transporter with her lightning.
Ooh, right.
So
right.
this lightning I would have liked it to rip some ships in half. Does it
Like
even blow up
calling
any
back
ships?
to a Haldo scene.
Yeah,
or
does it
something.
even blow up any ships?
No, it just powers all of them down.
How cool would that have been? Like calling back to the Haldo scene, he shoots it up, right?
Yeah.
It goes into the clouds
No sound.
and no sound, and then just shreds like half the fleet.
Yeah,
Like holy fuck, that would have been a good moment.
dude.
And you're just sitting there like,
Yeah.
but I do like the bass like.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. Like
just
so.
like
I need. We gotta look it
insane.
up. There
Yeah.
has to be a meme about it now. There has to be.
me after eating Taco Bell.
Literally. Like,
Just-
there's gotta be.
Damn man. Well, I'm drained. I'm drained.
I'm drained. I'm
guys.
curious to hear your shot on this.
Yeah, I'm
we
bringing a weird shot score.
We gotta do
today.
shots. We love too, though.
Shots we love. I already gave you my shots we love.
That's it. Like you're stuck on that one.
I love that shot, dude. I really noticed it in the second part and the second time I saw it. But
What was it? Oh yeah, the
where
Yeah.
you know they're fighting on Kajimi through Force Skype, and the camera rotates, and she's walking
Yeah.
from Kajimi into the quarters.
because it's following
It's
like
following
it goes
their
behind
point of
Kylo
views,
and
yeah.
yeah.
So
Can you guess mine? After first watch, this was mine, but it changed after second watch.
oh my god,
It changed to a
I'm trying to
cliche
think.
one.
Dude, don't tell me it's when they kiss.
No, dude, no. Okay, my initial one it still stuck with me, and I love it. It's
Mhm.
when right before Kylo sees Han, he's like looking out, right?
Oh,
He's on
yeah.
the peak, and
Looks
it's like
like a
Lion King.
cover of a Vogue magazine
Fuck, I ain't mad.
or a
that-
Polo
GQ.
GQ.
Yeah, man of the year. Literally. I love that shot.
Yeah.
It's so clear.
Tom
and
Ford.
like it's cloudy in the back. Like that's my
That's a good
aesthetic,
shot,
you know? But I also do love when Kylo comes back to save Rey to help Rey out against Palpatine, and they both have the lightsabers.
Oh, I do like
that-
that moment. And
That's a really cool little thing.
I bet you, from what I heard in this production, there was like 8 different endings.
Right.
And there's so many of these moments that we saw here that I'm sure were in those other endings. And I bet you we saw one where they're both stanced up, and then
Yeah.
all the Force ghosts are behind them too,
Ooh.
like doing the same stance, like we're all the Jedi type thing. I'm sure they did the one with just Rey and
Yeah.
all the Jedi.
Or Kylo laying on the back and all the Force ghosts around him.
Yeah, like.
Dude, you're ready for that.
I'm ready for that
DVD.
deleted
That's
scenes
deleted
section.
scenes. You're
That-
ready for that Blu-ray.
That disc better have the director's cut, and it better be like 6 hours
Yeah.
long.
Feel free to our Amazon wish list. Go to it. Go ahead and buy it for us.
I already got it pre-ordered.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, we talk a lot about the final third, and I think the final third is where the movie kind of like shines. And I think it's because like maybe the final third is ass, but I think it's because we got over all this like fast-paced bullshit, and now
Yeah.
the story's like happening.
Maybe it's ass.
Yeah, no, like maybe
That's
it's
our
like
motto. Yeah,
actually
right,
bad, but
right.
like we're in the terms of watching it as a movie, you're like, oh, it's finally like slowing down, and like
Yeah.
the story's here.
We're focusing on the characters
Yeah.
we care about.
You just wish it would have paid off if they did 2 as a whole movie,
Yeah.
where they're finding all these wayfinders, and then 3 was like this big payoff, and they could have done even more bonkers shit.
Dude, 30 years from now, we're going to be our parents, and Disney is going to be, we're rehashing the Star Wars
Oh my god,
series, and we're going to redo it. I'll be excited.
dude! If they came out with a statement and they said, you know what, we just want to do right by fans, we're gonna make 2 Rise of Skywalkers, 2 parts, I would have been 100%. And you know, they film these 2-part movies, they film all at once.
Right.
They just cut them in
Yeah.
half. So it's not like they would have to go and spend more money shooting and going to locations.
Yeah, that's what they did with Endgame and
And
Infinity
Endgame
War.
was shot at the same exact time they shot Infinity War.
Right,
so
right.
the actors don't even know what's going on. They're just told these scenes. So that's fucking disappointing. But shot score, as you guys know, if you're new here, we have been getting a little bit more new listeners. If you are new here, 5 out of 5 shots is actually blackout drunk. So
bad.
It's the worst score you can get.
Zero
Zero being the best score. I got like 2 scores.
No, dude, don't do this to me, bro. After this conversation is what you're saying?
Bro, no, I have 2 scores, and I came in with these 2 scores.
Okay.
Man, how do I word it? As a movie in this trilogy, as an overall, no, you know what? These 2 scores is going to be an overall trilogy score. Okay. This movie, I'm giving it 2 shots.
Just, okay.
Yeah. 2 shots. Right. I enjoyed the heck out of it, guys.
Okay.
Like, I watched it, and I was laughing, and I was smiling, and I was getting chills, and almost crying, and Leia really moved me, and yes, you know, it's messy, though. It is very messy. It's by no means perfect. It is the messiest of the 3, in that being because they had no time to tell the story. So it's really hard to say. I think it's more Star Wars-y than The Last Jedi.
Yes.
And I think that's where it gains. As a trilogy, though, this trilogy is like a 4 out of 5. Like, this trilogy is awful. Like, I still love the movies, and we've been saying this for all these movies.
Yeah.
Like, we love the movies, and we like enjoy talking about them and laughing at them, but this trilogy is bad. It does not flow. If you watch 7, 8, 9, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm like kind of scared to watch them back to back to back. It
doesn't make sense. Force Awakens is fun. It's a good reboot.
Yeah.
Last Jedi is a good movie. I personally don't think it's a good Star Wars movie, but it's shot well and the acting is really well done. But you know, and some of his like anime aspects that they put into that were like really cool to see in a Star Wars movie. 9 is just disregards 7, and it just is a mess. So it's all a mess. So as a trilogy, 4, we're picking our favorite one of the trilogy. This is hard because if we're picking our favorite one, I want to pick Rise of Skywalker because I think it's the funnest out of it's the most fun out of the 3, and I enjoy it the most.
Yeah,
but
it feels the most
Force Awakens does, but I think this one is just so like it's. I don't think it's over the top, but like it's the end. It's hype around that.
Yeah.
You know, the Emperor, although him being back and not being back in a well done way, he's back and he does do a good job. Ian McDiarmid does do a good job as being the Emperor. So, I want to pick this one. I think I'm gonna pick this one as the best in the sequel trilogy. But like literally, Force Awakens is like touching its butt like that close to being that spot.
Because that's the obvious choice.
Yeah,
right?
and maybe I'm hype on it, whatever. But I know some people pick Last Jedi as the best in the sequel, and that's fine. Like we said at the beginning, I don't hate people for that. I actually enjoy other people's points of view. I just find it hard to say that Last Jedi is good in the Star Wars saga because of how we've been trained as Star Wars fans. We weren't trained as Star Wars fans to expect different new random things in movies.
It's a fair point.
So when you bring it in, it feels out of place. I'm not saying that's bad.
That's why I like The Last Jedi, because I wasn't super into this world, right? So
like we don't go into the new movies like, oh, what new stuff are they gonna bring? They always just built a little bit off of stuff we've seen. A lot of the stuff felt like familiar ground, like they're doing a shot from an old movie, and that's just like kind of like it's paying homage to it. That's what we've been taught as. So I don't know. Maybe there is a fan base obviously out there that is wanting new stuff. Like they wanted Disney to come in and just do like completely new stuff. Yeah. And that's why they love Last Jedi.
I wanted them to find the balance of the old and bringing these new characters.
And they didn't, dude.
Great. Yeah, they didn't. They didn't handle it well, and they had these great actors and these great directors, and they just dropped the ball for whatever reason.
Yeah, they did not find the balance, and they were too this way and that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the presidential campaign. They're too Republican, too Democrat. Like they didn't get in the middle. They didn't bring us the new stuff and give us the old stuff.
No.
Overall, a disappointing trilogy for me.
That's fair.
I'm still gonna fucking buy the movie, and I'm
still
still
gonna
gonna
rewatch
watch.
those
I'm still gonna
scenes.
rewatch Ben Solo and Rey.
Coming back, yeah, I mean, you can't not.
And I really just wish they had him more. Or if they kept him alive, I would have hopes that they would try to sign Adam Driver for a show on his own. But
he wouldn't do
it looks like he probably wants to get the fuck out of it.
Yeah, that's what
he
it
doesn't
felt
really
like this
talk about. He's really humble. He doesn't really talk much
He
about
doesn't.
like people like kind of hint at like production issues, but he's just like, I'm in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I love him.
He's also more well known than the other guys.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac's like blown up too, but.
Yeah, I guess him and Adam
but,
would be like the two.
I mean, they're all blowing up now. It's interesting to see what Daisy Ridley's gonna do going forward.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about it. I want one last moment before you give your shots. Yellow lightsaber, very cool to see on screen.
Yes.
Again,
2
why
seconds.
does it need to be there if it's not gonna does that just mean they're gonna show different colors in shows? Like,
well, it's setting up her for a potential movie, even though they're done. They're going to have a movie.
It's so
with
weird
Rey.
to me. Also, you don't make it double bladed. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
right. She's been using the staff. Like,
yeah,
I've been just wanting her to do the double blade, and it
Yes.
didn't look like she had it. And
they
her,
teased it with her stick in the beginning in her
Yeah.
Jedi training.
yeah,
her
and
stabbing the thing.
and her freaking devil version of herself had it.
Right.
We didn't talk about that either, but she was kind of creepy. But again, 2 seconds.
It didn't mean anything.
Again, it's just
and they released that scene before.
It's just the freaking stuff that if it was just fleshed out, it would make sense. But you bring the yellow lightsaber in again. I see that at the end of 2.
Yeah.
She finds herself as like this Jedi. She builds the yellow lightsaber. And
her
Kylo
kyber
at the
crystal.
same time is either Ben at this moment or Kylo is finding the Emperor at this moment. And this is the end of The Last Jedi.
Right.
And then, boom, movie ends. Now you're like, fuck, Rey has the yellow lightsaber and Kylo's Ben and Kylo just found the Emperor. Like, what's going to happen in the third one? But not
Too
making
soon.
it double is very disappointing. I don't understand that. She's been using the staff.
And it's modeled after the hilt of her old.
Like she built it out of the staff. Why not? I love the way it turns on though with the like flip of the like the screw.
Yes, it was a really cool scene.
And first time we've ever seen a yellow lightsaber on screen. And it's not even used to kill anyone. So I don't know, man.
So fuck you. Is that what you're saying?
Sorry, I keep overrunning you,
No,
but
you're
I'm
good.
trying to get the last points. She renounces her name, Palpatine.
Oh no,
and
Ben
she
should have been a Force ghost with
she
Leia and Luke. That
adopts
didn't make no
she
sense.
adopts Skywalker name.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? I know people feel.
I don't. I mean, like, it's not a huge deal to me.
It wasn't for me either, and a lot
Yeah.
of people are talking about it.
Like, I get it, but
I think
I wouldn't want to be Palpatine. Like, I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't
too.
want to be Palpatine either, but I think that's more. It's stronger, like in its metaphor of like, I'm a Palpatine, and the old lady could have been like, "Oh my God, you are," and she's like, "No, that name doesn't mean what it did."
Or it could have just been like, I'm Rey, just Rey. I would have liked that. They force fed us the whole movie.
Yeah,
for
I know,
her being
but
like, I'm just Rey.
But this whole moment, like with killing Ben, now they're saying.
Well, Ben's
God,
last name wasn't even Skywalker. It's Solo.
I know that, but he is the last
I know,
of the Skywalker
of course,
blood.
yeah.
But, with them killing him, now, okay, we're naming it Rise of Skywalker, I guess Rey Skywalker. Or, like, people were saying maybe she was supposed to be a Skywalker at the beginning. Whatever the fuck it was supposed to be, I think I would have... I'm not bothered by it.
I'm not
by her adopting. She sees them.
Yeah.
She's like,
That was a cool moment.
they're basically adopted. They had adopted
Yeah.
me, right? They taught me like all I know.
The ways of the Force.
But it still would have been cool if she saw them and she was like, I'm Rey Palpatine. And
that would have been like a fuck you to them.
No,
though.
it wouldn't
yes,
have.
Yes, it would have.
It wouldn't have because Leia fucking says it, dude.
That's
She's
true.
don't be afraid of who you are.
All right, you got me there.
She says it.
You got me.
And she sees her. Maybe they even rehash the line so the audience can all, they know why she says it.
Or like she hears it.
Don't be afraid of who you are. And she says, because the Force ghosts, they can sense her wanting to say Skywalker probably, but part of her training should be that. Don't be afraid of who you are, Rey.
But also, that scene did not have to be there.
It didn't have to be there at all, I know. But I'm just saying, if she said Palpatine, it would have been more powerful.
You choose your family. You choose,
And the girl the old lady could have been like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And then she would have been like, no.
Flinched back.
Yeah, no. It's not what that means anymore.
Yeah.
I can tell you the story.
Oh.
And then, boom.
Yeah.
Movie ends.
Yeah.
Fuck. I got to turn my mic off so you could talk now.
No, you're good.
All right. Give me your shots you love.
Initially came out of this movie, and I you could ask Sam. My text rage were like, what? Like, you liked this movie? Like, the friends I saw it with, like Sawyer and Cameron, old friends of the pod, they were just like, all right, Nicole. But, I was going to give it a 4.
Wow.
Damn near a 5. Damn near. Yeah,
wow.
I was, really mad.
You saw it twice.
But I saw it a second time, talking with people about it. It's only went down 1. I give it a 3.
Okay. I think that's a fair score.
Yeah, I was very lazy, just so disappointing, and none of the new characters made me feel anything, but they didn't treat the old characters like they should have.
Right.
And I don't know. I kind of felt bad coming out of it. I was kind of mad because I've been talking to a lot of people who liked the movie, which is great, but I've talked to people, not you, but they liked it, and they kind of make me feel bad for not liking it. And I'm like, I'm allowed to not like it.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And give you my points for why I didn't like it,
Yeah. I mean, that's why we do this pod.
Yeah. It kind of sucks that, if you say you like something or you say you don't like something, it's so cliche. But it's not.
No.
I can like whatever I want. So, yeah, that kind of made, amped up my,
your hatred
what the
for
fuck?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
I mean,
I like the conversation.
If we talk about, I had that moment with Last Jedi too.
Right, yeah.
I came out of it I hate this
dude.
movie.
You've grown, dude.
No, I know, but I came
Even
out
on
of
this
it.
pod, though.
Yeah, I came out of it and I was like, I hate this movie.
Yeah.
And people hated on me for hating the movie.
That's true, yeah.
And everyone, I guess it's a metaphor for life. You should be open to people's opinions.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with them.
That's our Force lesson.
Yeah, but for Nicole and I, that's why we do the pod. I hope
to get new
I hope we
on
never make each other feel that way ever, because that's not good.
Yeah.
But I totally respect your views, and that's why we do it. And when we have our views, we talk about it, and we we get.
Yeah, me saying oh, you like that? I was just shocked that you liked it.
Yeah.
Based on our conversations from the other movies, but it wasn't me being fuck.
No, I know we're homies and we know
yeah.
that, but when you talk to people, don't be mad. Understand it. For me, I even thought the same thing when you said that. I was like, I said that to you. I said, I don't understand how people don't like it.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to people's points of views, and of course I saw it the second time, and I'm like, yeah, it's a messy ass film. It shouldn't be praised, I don't think, at all.
Which critics aren't.
Yeah, critics hate it, and then what? Critics loved Last Jedi, fans hated it.
Yeah.
Critics hate this, fans love it. I mean, it's sitting at an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes. So, they're always going to be different. But before we end, we're going to end it with what our thoughts on how Palpatine dies, because we didn't even talk about that either.
Oh yeah, well,
cliche.
My favorite movie of the trilogy is Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Yeah, which is not a shocker to anybody. I like that you can make something different in this universe that's been around for a while, and I respect the hell out of someone.
He tried a lot, and
but the ideas brought to the Last Jedi were built on here and were great. Force communicating. Amazing.
And they were built on very well, and I think those were one of the great things that came out. So also, the Force Ghost having physical presence in the world was brought into The Last Jedi, that a lot of people didn't like, but seemed to not mind here.
But as a whole, this was after my first watch, but there was a moment watching the movie the very first time where I like in my head apologized to the prequels for me hating them so much.
Right?
Where I was like, fuck. Like,
I thought that too.
Really?
I thought that too. After the second viewing, I said, you know what?
I paid my
as
respects.
a trilogy. As a trilogy, this is the worst trilogy. The sequel trilogy. The original trilogy is obviously the best. The prequel trilogy sits behind it.
Yeah, this movie is like third after Phantom Menace, and I don't know which other one. It's like the third worst. It might even be the second.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen a lot of people rank it as the worst.
Damn.
Above Last Jedi.
Above Phantom Menace.
And they were, and Phantom Menace. Shit. And they were Last Jedi haters, too. So, I mean, people are going to have opinions, and this fan base is massive. So it feels like you may be feeling like, oh, everyone just hates it or everyone just likes it.
Yeah.
It's just because of, like, where you are, what you're searching, and you know, you're force fed that shit. Thank Google for that.
Yeah. You'll feel as if a million voices cried out all at once.
Oh my gosh. A New Hope reference, man. I hope that you guys listening, if you made it this far, this is probably the longest episode ever in Phil Carl history.
Ever, and it's as long as the movie.
Yeah, and that's as long as the movie. You guys definitely comment on Instagram if you can, and let us know you made it this far. Email us your thoughts. I hope that no one, if you are an audience member, you felt seen here, heard here, welcomed here. We hope that I've been watching some podcasts and listening. And people are just like gunning people down, and it's kind of annoying. I think Nicole and I handled ourselves very well, and we were we're gonna kill each other.
I know, we really were like.
But no, right. I came in and I knew. The funny part is I knew all your hates. Yeah. Because your hates of it are honestly my dislikes of the movie because the movie is bad. But I just still like enjoyed it overall. It's weird. It's a weird relationship. I can't tell you.
It's a weird feeling, but a good conversation.
If it's any other movie, I probably would have freaking gave it a 5. But Palpatine dying, the whole I am Iron Man type scenario.
Like I am all the Jedi. That was cool. That was really cool.
It was so she can block the lightning with the one, and then the 2 just makes her like just push it back. I don't know. You know what I would have?
How would you want him to die?
I don't know. And this is a monumental task. Like, you're ending the saga. How do we do this? I would have liked more Force. Like, if the Force Ghost went into Rey when she said that, like they were standing behind her, and then she says, "I am all the Jedi," and they went into her.
Yes.
You would buy her power.
Right.
You would buy that. I mean, she's already overpowered.
It was really the power of the blades, though.
I guess, but. She's saying I am all the Jedi.
2 of the strongest Jedis, like.
Yeah, so it's kind of a headache. I'm not mad about how he died. Because I didn't expect anything more.
Yeah, well, because if she struck him down, she would have been evil.
Yeah,
like that would have been murder, right? Like you don't want to. That's the easiest, that's like the way to kill him off without. Being problematic with the characters.
Yeah, because if she sliced him, people would have been like, "Well, does that mean she's a Sith?"
Yeah, right, exactly.
So, I don't know. I wasn't mad though. I saw it and I was like, "This is out of the Disney movie. This is what I would have expected as the end of it." Like that's how I would. It's pretty visually gross.
It is
kind of scary for kids.
It's
but whatever.
Really his eyes, like even with him alive.
Yeah. So I did like the dark feel of the movie overall.
But I really wanted Rey to I wanted her to keep Kylo's lightsaber. Yeah. I wanted her to I thought that was going to happen, but then he threw it, So I was like, I had forgotten that too. Yeah. So when she, we see her, have one, I'm like, oh shit, she's going to have Kylo's. And then I was like, wait.
It would have been cool if she did have the blue and the red in solidifying her gray Jedi-ness. Like, she's evil
but
and
also,
good.
You're going to make them fall in love, have a piece of him with her.
Doesn't blue and red make yellow?
Oh, so...
Brain explosion.
Damn. No, blue and red.
Doesn't it?
Make green.
Oh. I don't know. Hey, Siri.
Theory annihilated.
What does blue and red make?
First Siri question on pod. Gives us Google
you
searches.
Get violet.
Ooh, purple lightsaber, dude. Mace Windu.
Yeah, it does. Blue and red. That makes sense. What colors make blue yellow?
Green and something.
Oh, green.
Or maybe yellow can't be made. We're just showing how stupid we are again.
Not
math. No, we can't do it.
Math. It's colors.
I know.
Whatever. I would think that would have been cool though. Your point, like
that would have been really cool.
She's the gray Jedi. She has both powers.
Yeah.
And she's using that. It would have been cool to see the Jedi help her. It would have been probably cool to see maybe Ben. Like, it would have explained them being able to withstand his lightning if he had to split both of them off to different people. There's a lot of differences they could have done. Again, it just feels weird. Like, why does Rey even die? We don't even get an indication that would kill her.
Right.
And she just
dies.
dies.
We had already seen it once, yeah.
They're like, oh, we have to kill Ben, so we have to kill Rey so Ben can kill himself. Like, that's honestly how it happened. But
this is a conversation that's going to last.
Yeah, we need to
many pods.
Cut it here.
Many pods from now.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and Happy New Year.
This is ending the year.
Happy New Year. We're ending the year on a fucking bang.
Oh my gosh.
The year has been awesome.
Proud of us.
Our first episode of the year, I think, is our like year in review, right? Our 2019 review.
The first episode we ever did?
No, the first episode we're gonna do in 2020.
Oh,
is, like,
yes.
I think we were talking about doing that.
Yeah,
so,
we kind of wanted to do that.
It's probably your first episode in 2020 will probably not be a movie. It's probably just gonna be us reflecting on the year.
Oscars are coming.
That's gonna
be fun.
So it's excited time. We started it end of February last year, so.
We started recording in January.
Yeah,
but we didn't release, I think, until it's
so
crazy. We've been talking about this since we've known each other. That's crazy.
We do thank everyone that listens, all of our friends, family.
Yeah.
Even the people we don't know. We want to know you're out there, though, so message us on Facebook.
The new friends we've made.
Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah, Pod Pardue. Yeah. Sawyer, although, I work with them, but just
Sawyer's
the friends
been really
of the pod.
cool.
Yeah. Sawyer's done a lot for us.
A lot of people out there. We're gonna hash all that out.
LBR, sorry, I don't want to forget them.
Yeah, let's be realistic. Rickley and Patrick.
Rickley texts us every Tuesday.
There's gonna be a lot of love going around in that first episode.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And probably tears. But we're gonna go over. So next week will be our year 2019 review. We could review ourselves, I guess.
Yes. Our best episodes.
Yeah, best episodes, memorable moments. Favorite guests, maybe not, because people might get offended. I don't know. We'll probably also post some stuff on Instagram and ask questions that we will answer, or have you guys ask questions that we will answer, like a Q&A almost, but not live. So please go to Instagram and follow at The Film Crawl. Go to Twitter at The Film Crawl, Facebook at The Film Crawl.
We're there.
Those polls will be posted at those locations, and you can ask questions and hear the answers. So it's going to be a fun year. 2020 is going to be big. Wherever you're listening, we hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever it is.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye from 2019.